Good morning and welcome to the Burnside Bowling Club in Christchurch for the final day of the National Interclub Sevens, where we are bringing to you a semi-final and a final here on Sky Sport Next. Brenton Van Nistelrooy alongside Kevin Hickland. Our first game we are bringing to you is a women's semi-final between Nelson and Carlton Cornwall, and our feature match is the singles game between Jo Edwards and Linda Ralph, which is underway. Jo Edwards needs no introduction, of course, New Zealand's most capped player, two-time Commonwealth Games champion in the women's singles, multiple world champion, and Linda Ralph, a very good player, strong player out of the Auckland Centre for Carlton Cornwall. Both come into this matchup with identical records, 5 wins from 6. And Kevin, as we said time and time again yesterday, the singles so important in these matches with pairs and fours alongside. Singles often finishes first. If you can get that first point on the board, it goes a long way to securing your place in the next round.
It certainly does, Brenton, and good morning everyone. Beautiful morning here in Christchurch. The sun streaming down here at Burnside. No wind at this point of the day, and we're certainly in, I think, for a fantastic singles match here. And rightly, as you say, Brenton, in the 4 semi-finalists, if we look at the singles records of those particular sides, the two out here, of course, and that of Nainai and the North Harbour Takapuna side, their singles players have been dominant right throughout round robin play and, of course, winning post-section play. Linda Ralph, of course, very, very good singles players. In fact, gone to England and played in the Professional Bowls Association over there as well. Won a trip over there. Has been a finalist in New Zealand events and was, of course, part of the winning Auckland side that won the Women's Inter-Centre Championships in Howick a few years back. So we're in for a good tussle here, and certainly Linda Ralph has opened up very, very strongly with a front of the bowl just centimetres below the jack and one just in behind. So Edwards now playing her third bowl on the backhand. And I'm sure the conditions, Brendan, will lend themselves with the calibre of these two players to very, very tight ends. And they're both very strong in their shot play and draw. More than likely, it's fair to say Jo Edwards would have a bigger variety of attacking shots than Linda Ralph, but Linda Ralph will certainly back herself on the draw.
Yeah, certainly. And barely a cloud in the sky here in Christchurch. A nice change from this time yesterday morning when there was dark clouds and rain falling on the Burnside greens, and we had a number of puddles all over the greens as well. Play had to be halted. But this morning, while it only may be a few degrees right now, supposed to reach around 21 degrees, and it's going to be an absolute beautiful day, and there's going to be no problem getting in our semi-finals and finals, of course, on this green that we are broadcasting from. We also have the other women's semi-final, that being between Takapuna and Nainai. Of course, we live streamed Takapuna's win over Queenstown yesterday. Nainai were also comprehensive victors over Henueta, and that's got Selena Smith up against Lisa White. Selena Smith perfect 6 from 6 in the singles. Lisa White 6 from 7. So as Kevin mentioned, a number of strong singles players on show for all 4 women's semi-finalists. And we also have the men's semi-finals taking place on the other green here at Burnside, one of the 2 front greens. And we have Browns Bay taking on Stoke, and Stokes Valley meeting Elmwood Park. So really the best of the best have made it. So 3 in particular heavyweight clubs in Stokes Valley and Elmwood Park. We all expected to go deep in this competition. The cream has risen to the top. Looks like that'll be 1 to Linda Ralph.
And we'll see in a moment, just through the sound, I think it may have been 2, Brendan. I'm not 100% sure, but I heard 2 being mentioned. But very good opening end there from Linda Ralph, the Auckland, the Carlton player, who certainly had 4 very consistent bowls in around the head. And we know with Jo Edwards, not just the one, we know from watching Jo Edwards in so many international events that from time to time, Jo may not be the quickest starter. It takes a few ends to get into her rhythm, but we all know the calibre of these 2 players and the winner of this match is certainly going to go a long way to assist their side to making the final this afternoon.
Yeah, you may have heard coming through our camera mics as well, the familiar voice of Val Smith, Joe Edwards' best mate, long-time friend, achieved so much together for the Blackjacks, and of course just last month winning the Inter-Centre title for Nelson. So Joe Edwards, Colleen Earl and Val Smith, all members of that Nelson Centre side, which took out the National Inter-Centre title at the Wilton Bowling Club in Wellington last month. So it's a lot to overcome for Carlton Cornwall. Colleen Earl playing with Linda Erasmus in the pairs for Nelson, and Val Smith skipping the four with Kay Hammond, Linda Sisterson and Di Holland. And Carlton Cornwall in the pairs, Karen Hemmer and Lisa Prideaux. Of course, Lisa Prideaux, Val Smith's pairs partner from the National Championship winning pair earlier this season. And in the fours, it's Ashley Jeffcoat skipping the Carlton Cornwall four with Karen de Jong, Bev Crow and Kimberly Hemingway.
And congratulations too to Val Smith, who just last week started her new role back here in New Zealand as in the management role for mainland football. Of course, both Joe Edwards and Val Smith were very, very they represented Nelson and were in New Zealand age group squads for football in their earlier days. And
Joe Edwards was in the senior squad, wasn't she?
She was, certainly was.
Part of what is now known as the Football Ferns. Didn't get a cap, but was part of the Football Ferns squad. Then found bowls, and obviously the rest is history from there.
Yeah, so Val's taken up what you would call her love of winter code, all year round code, and well done to Val who watches this bowler Joe Edwards. This will be the shot, just drifts in behind the jack, sits just outside the centre line in between the Linda Ralph, the two bowls of Linda Ralphs, which are about a metre behind the jack. Good thing is we've seen very early on, and the green lends itself to it. Brendan, it's a very nice draw on the bowls back to the centre line. Linda Ralph on her backhand, trying to get to outdraw that Joe Edwards bowl. Very, very proficient, experienced singles player.
I don't know if the arms were being crossed because she was unhappy or just because she's keeping warm. It's still a quite crisp morning, and they're at the shaded end of the green as well. The sun coming down on them, which will keep them nice and warm out there.
Edwards on the back end, and you see now that Linda Ralph bowl was wide of the jack, and Joe Edwards' third bowl just needs to get a feather, and it did, but it goes in behind the second and third shot bowls of Linda Ralph. Linda Ralph's weight with her third bowl was very good, just the line wasn't quite where it needed to be. It needs to adjust inside that line.
So the forwards taking place on the rink alongside our live streaming rink, our singles match between Nelson and Carlton Cornwall, and then the pairs the other rink down. And then of course following three rinks after that we have our semi-final between Takapuna and Nainai, North Harbour and Wellington centres doing battle. It's like the Nelson and Auckland centres meeting here in our semi-final we are bringing to you, and we'll keep you up to date with the other happenings on the green and that happening and the other green here at Burnside as well in the men's semi-finals. Browns Bay against Stoke and Stokes Valley against Elmwood Park.
So watch this last bowl of Joe Edwards drifting towards the head into the centre line, and that'll certainly count. It'll be the shot itself. It'll be a 2 to Edwards.
Yeah, and confirmed. 2 for Joe Edwards, who grabs the mat and the jack back. 2-1. Joe Edwards leading Linda Ralph in this first 2:21 singles matchup of our women's semi-final between Nelson and Carlton Cornwall. As I mentioned at the top, Kevin, both players very strong performances. Joe Edwards has won her last 5 games in the singles here at the National Interclub Sevens after losing her first singles game. She's been perfect since, and Linda Ralph has also just dropped the 1 game in the singles here at Burnside.
Because Burnside in years gone by was the home club of Joe Edwards when residing down here in Christchurch, and Dave with his job with Bowls New Zealand. Joe played here out of the Burnside club, so he's got very many fond memories of Burnside. Of course, 2008 winning the Peers, the World Peers, with her good mate as Val Smith, and then of course back here for the World Bowls again in 2016. We're in the Peers, picked up a bronze medal in the Peers again with Angela Boyd. So very much happy, and of course won the New Zealand singles here as well, and a New Zealand Peers here as well. So Burnside certainly a very happy hunting ground, so to speak, for this so accomplished, now retired international player, and has won all around the world.
Would have played countless matches here. There was so many major events being played at Burnside during her career. Very familiar with the greens here.
A good bowl breaking into the head here from Joe Evers, just drifting past the jack, not quite a toucher, but just sits a few inches in behind the jack.
Yeah, saw the marker keeping a keen eye on that one to see if there was just the faintest of touches.
The Linda Ralph bowl, in fact, just fell inwards, in fact. The second shot bowl. So it's interesting whether Ralph needs to get the shot, needs to really be under her own bowl, to turn her own bowl in. That bowl still looks to have chalk on as it went by to the 2 metre mark. So now, of course, with the back bowl that Linda Ralph has put in there, she can tighten that line fractionally with a wee bit more yard of weight to get down to the shot bowl. Another good bowl here though from Edwards. Going to get all the way down to the jack area. Yes, it will. And now it certainly forces Linda Ralph to tighten that line now to play under her own front bowl. Just a fraction over the draw to get down to either the shot bowl or movement of the jack on that backhand side of the rink. Needs to start coming back now towards the centre line. It's coming back now, not far away from getting a result here is Linda Ralph. There's a great response from Linda Ralph. In fact, brushed the jack on the way through. Couldn't have been much further away for, well, only centimetres to getting the perfect result.
Has some scores coming in from the other disciplines in the semi-final. So Nelson leading all three. Obviously here in the singles 2-1 to Joe Edwards over Linda Ralph. Nelson also leading in the pairs. That's Colleen Earle and Linda Erasmus against Karen Hemmer and Lisa Prideaux. And obviously very early stages doing the forwards, but a 1-0 lead for Val Smith's quartet over Ashley Jeffcoat's Carlton Cornwall 4. Nelson looking to add more silverware for them. Joe Edwards, Val Smith, Colleen Earle have all had success in this competition before, and of course at the National Inter Centre for the Nelson Centre just last month. I think might have been with United that Joe Edwards and Val Smith had success previously in the National Interclub.
On the return from Australia, both Joe Edwards and Val Smith linked up with the Nelson Club, and the Nelson Club, one of the oldest clubs around. In fact, it's nestled in behind the cathedral at Nelson in the city, right in the town area. It's only a 1-green club. Used to be many years ago a 2-green club, but it's nestled down inside a valley in behind the cathedral, and a really picturesque spot in Nelson, just up from the Rutherford Hotel. In fact, just a block away from the Rutherford Hotel. And it's a club that was, not saying it was down and out, but a few years ago the Caldwell family got in behind organising with Richard Collett the $20,000 men's fours tournament, and from there it's been a springboard for the Nelson Club to once again become a very strong force in the Nelson area.
And what a boost to have Joe Edwards and Val Smith joining your club as well. As obviously winning the Nelson title and now looking to turn it into a national title through to the final four here against Carlton Cornwall out of Auckland. Another very strong club, very proud history. More national titles than any other club, of course. Carlton club before it merged with Cornwall. Very dominant nationally for a number of years.
But what it does highlight, though, Brendan, if we take Nelson as a region over the, I'll call it the Edwards-McElroy years, if we look at the Stoke from the men's side and now Nelson, they've certainly got a number of what you would say the elite players of New Zealand actually are playing out of the Nelson area.
And when you consider Ali Forsyth is from there too.
Ali Forsyth's there. They've got very, very good greens and and they've got a very, very good working community with the sport there, which enhances. As we watch now, Ralph, of course, who was 2 down on that last end, got the shot with the last bowl and opened up very well here on her forehand side. One sitting just in behind the jack, another one just alongside it. So started off very strongly. Here's Linda Ralph as Joe Edwards endeavouring to get down to those counting bowls or the jack. It's on a good line. This bowl of Joe Edwards, is it just going to run away or sit lower? The jack just goes by. Certainly had good weight. And Ralph holding 2. Try and just draw inside that last bowl of Joe Edwards, which on that forehand side, which was Linda Ralph's mother, Mrs. Pretorius. Was a very, very good bowler. In fact, represented South Africa before they moved to New Zealand. And another good bowl here from Ralph, just going to go in behind, but right on the centre line. And this is really consistent. This is very, very consistent play, isn't it, Brendan? And it highlights 2 things: the quality of the green and also the ability of the players that they can consistently draw so close to the jack. Joe Edwards at least 2 down, and just going to come all the way back. How's the weight on this bowl of Edwards? Looks to be on a very, very good line to get to the shot, and and sits just alongside the jack. The opportunity here for Ralph. And that bowl's turned over, really, will, in my view, force her to change her hand. She can set the bowl on the draw or just get a touch on the jack, but make 3 shots of it. Hard to get that result playing on her forehand. And more better shot option, one would think, on the backhand to get to the Joe Edwards shot bowl. Stand on the mat, looking, visualising where the bowl needs to get to that breaking point. And that's exactly what Linda Ralph is doing. Doesn't
like it straight away. Yeah, all that visualisation came to nothing. Right. Yeah, in fact, just knocks away a couple of her bowls in the area. So, not the desired result. And now, well, Joe Edwards can maybe turn this into a couple.
Joe Edwards can certainly. A scoring chance here for Joe Edwards after Linda Ralph just dislodged a couple of her bowls, but certainly was the right shot option for Linda Ralph, but just slightly off target. Edwards trying to make 2 of it, out on the safe wider side. And we also know, Ben, for the amount of bowls we've watched Joe Edwards play, that her bowls have got certainly a very generous draw. Break into the jack. You see a lot of the bowls don't have that same natural larger arc which the Joe Edwards bowls have got. So you'll always see Joe Edwards' bowls coming back towards the jack in the centre line.
So 1 to Joe Edwards. Takes back the lead. Joe Edwards leading Linda Ralph in this singles rubber of our women's semi-final between the Nelson and Carlton Cornwall clubs here at the National Interclub Sevens, the Burnside Bowling Club in Christchurch. As you can see, it is a beautiful sunny morning here in Christchurch. Still pretty fresh, yeah, a couple of degrees and it got up, but it will warm up quickly and supposed to be a high of around 20-21 degrees here. Nice contrast from yesterday where we struggled to even get into the mid-teens after a very wet and windy start to the day.
Joe Edwards' first bowl, Jack's at a shorter length this particular end. The mat's back on the 2 metre mark, but certainly the length reduced by a couple of metres. Joe Edwards draws Jack level with her first bowl. Linda Ralph now on her backhand endeavouring to draw just inside the line of that Jack level bowl of Joe Edwards's. Looks as though it's just going to drop under the centre line. More likely just finish lower the Jack, and it does just outside the centre line, lower the Jack. And will it? Joe Edwards may well now change her hand, and she doesn't want to run into the first bowl of Linda Ralph. So Edwards now will play on her backhand. Very tall Edwards, we've seen her puts together some fantastic results all around the globe. And another good bowl here from Joe Edwards, just going to draw underneath her own and behind the Jack. Well played from Joe Edwards, putting the pressure on early. And I'm sure with the second bowl, we'll see Ralph will stay on that backhand side. Get another bowl close to the head. She may be able to rest up that forehand side to what is the Joe Edwards shot bowl. There it is on the backhand in the yellow and black Carlton colours, of course. And this bowl of Linda Ralph's working back towards the centre line. It's going to be just over the head, right on the centre line. Third shot. Joe Edwards, I'm sure now, will endeavour to draw, really put the pressure on Linda Ralph. On the backhand, shading from the sun, but it's on that wider side. Will it come back far enough to be in the counting area?
Yeah,
may well, yes it will.
Yeah, if that bowl hadn't been there, it would have been very close to coming back towards Jack. Ran into one of her own. So the pressure here on Linda Ralph is her third bowl.
Just notice the difference in the deliveries, Brenton. Just see Linda Ralph just at the delivery point, give the bowl a little sort of flick. It's going to get up enough for second shot. I'm not sure. And you compare that with the Joe Edwards delivery.
Joe Edwards, I think, going to get an indication here from our marker, Margaret Gray, as to what is the second shot.
Two and a measure.
Two and a measure, okay. So now we really thank all the volunteers who make events like this possible, and those members here at the Burnside Club. Margaret Gray doing the marking. We have Shirley Clark, the board, operating the scoreboard here in our singles match. Really helps up us as well, bring you the commentary that you know who's holding shot, what the scores are in each end. So we can't tell sometimes from our angles, so it's great to have all the volunteers.
Joe Edwards endeavouring to get under that line to her own bowl. Now, of course, fell out with it. It's in the count or not, but what it really does there, Brendan, really takes that line away from Linda Ralph.
Yeah, who's going to come down and have a look at the head. So first visit to see what exactly the situation is.
Well, second shot option is really for the option for Linda Ralph, and more than likely that option, Brenton, really is to change her hand. If she can turn her own bowl over, which is the measure bowl, the one directly in front of the Jack, just sitting it on the centre line, turns that over once, certainly makes second shot of it. Or if she was to get outside that bowl, just feather around her own bowl, she does have a chance of sitting inside or just on the outside of the Joe Edwards shot itself bowl, and it takes, of course, those other bowls out of the count.
Yeah, pretty quick visit from Linda Ralph, so I think she identified just that. The need to change the hand. Looks like that's what she's going to do. Still playing backhand, now moving on to the forehand and trying to either promote her bowl, which is maybe a measure for third shot, and it will come around that bowl. Certainly looks on the wider side. Is it going to come through
it's
this
on a good line, this
bowl?
bowl.
It is.
It's on a good line, this bowl.
Oh, very well done. Now
it's the measure
still
bowl.
Joe Edwards holding shot, or is it that bowl which is mine?
Well, the jack level bowl looks like shot from the monitor, Brendan, and then it's around other bowls from there. But there was certainly a good bowl from Linda Ralph, and deserved a reduction really, because she was right on target to get the ultimate result.
Yeah, unfortunate, didn't have a bit less weight in it, and just sat on the shot bowl to grab shot outright. Still a measure for shot. Oh, still two to Joe Edwards. So she was holding 3 then before that last bowl from Linda Ralph. So cutting the count by 1. So now Joe Edwards 5, leading Linda Ralph 2 in this first 2:21 women's singles matchup in our semi-final we're bringing to you here between the Nelson and Carlton Cornwall clubs. We have the pairs and fours alongside, and as you can see, Nelson on our scoreboard leading both the pairs and the fours, 4-2 advantage in the pairs. That's Colleen Earle and Linda Erasmus against Karen Hemmer and Lisa Prideaux, and then Val Smith's forwards leading Ashley Jeffcoats 4-2-0 after just 2 of the 15 ends. Interesting, the pairs, both pairs have struggled somewhat. We've said how well the singles players have done, both Linda Ralph and Joe Edwards winning 5 of 6. Pairs only won half of their games so far, 3 of 6, both Colleen Earls and Karen Hemmers, while the fours for both is immovable objects really. We've got Val Smith has been 5 from 5 plus a draw, and then Ashley Jeffcoats for 6 from 6 for Carlton Cornwall. So interesting to see how those two separate themselves, and also that pairs matchup with two pairings which have not really had it all their own way here at the National Interclub Sevens.
So Joe Edwards leading 5-2 and is opened with a bowl just sitting lower the jack, only centimetres from the jack, right on the centre line. And as Brenton and I have spoken about in earlier coverages, the importance of that first bowl and the position that allows you to get a good control or a good position on the head early on, and that's exactly what Joe Edwards has done here. I mean, just low of the 2 metre mark, you'll see the jack just about a metre low of the 2 metre with the Joe Edwards bowl sitting just down in front of it. Here's Edwards on the backhand, and certainly both of these players really drawing very, very consistently. There's another good bowl coming in here from Joe Edwards. How fast it's going to run towards the jack, going to be on the centre line, certainly is. But what that does do, of course, Brenton, just makes that line so much different now.
It certainly does. Changes situation for Linda Ralph. It's going to come on her forehand, try and come around that shorter bowl, find a way to that jack as the sun pours into our commentary position, and I'm quite well shaded, but not so my co-commentator Kevin Eklund. You really get quite low, Kevin, to avoid the sun which is pouring in, which we shouldn't complain about. It's a nice change from yesterday.
Has a very good position now for Joe Edwards on the head, because you saw the Linda Ralph with her second bowl had perfect weight but finished wide of the jack, and because of that front bowl of the Joe Edwards, it just makes it far more challenging to get around to where the jack or shot bowl is. Edwards now coming back towards the centre line. We'll get to the outside of what is the third shot of Linda Ralph's, and a really challenging shot here for Linda Ralph to be able to draw the shot. It's a very, very narrow line down there. It'll get past the Joe Edwards bowl, which is second shot, to get to the jack. Just heard the marker, Margaret Gray, saying to Linda Ralph that her bowl was just one bolt jack high. So this is one of those really just dead draw shots, and they're not easy to play for sure. So here's Linda Ralph trying to get past the front bowl of Joe Edwards. It's going to be on the inside of them. You can see how tight that line is to get to the counting bowls, and as we spoke about, Brendan, it's that first bowl pressure that you can create on the head, and then Joe Edwards was able to do that by drawing just in front of the jack, and then our other bowl just a bit lower of the jack, but just cuts off that line to get down to the jack.
False start saw there from Joe Edwards, which we've come accustomed to. If she's put off slightly by a sound or someone in her eye line, she's comfortable just taking that step back, resetting herself, getting back through her steps on the mat.
Good bowl here, sits inside this bowl of Linda Ralph's, would count and just slides by. One turn of that bowl would have certainly made a big difference, could have brought two bowls into it. Now Linda Ralph, her only option really is to endeavour to get that dead draw on the forehand. 5-2 behind at this point, 2 down on the head, and a 7-2 lead if that was to be the case for Joe Edwards. And this is a good attempt here from Ralph, but not going to come back to the. It's going to go by, and that'll be, I'm sure Edwards definitely going to score again. Whether it's 1 or 2, we'll know in but a moment.
Certainly one will be taken away. We'll see if the second lollipop goes up. Yeah, just the one indicated just there. Yes, one. Margaret Gray indicating 1. So 6-2 it is now. Joe Edwards leading Linda Ralph. And I can give you an update on the other semi-finals. And the other women's semi-final, Takapuna and Nainai. It is in the singles. So far, Lisa White leading Selena Smith 5-1. Selena Smith unbeaten in the singles here at Burnside and Christchurch. In the pairs, it's 2 apiece. And in the fours, that strong Nainai 4, which have yet to be beaten here at the National Interclub, 5-0. They are leading Takapuna. So Nainai up in 2 of the disciplines and level in the other. And we have the men's semi-finals also taking place here at Burnside on the other green. In the Browns Bay Stoke semi-final in the singles, it is Shannon McElroy leading Colin Rogan 4-2. Shannon McElroy, of course, of Stoke. In the pairs, Stoke also leading 4-1 after 2 of 18 ends. But in the fours, it is the Browns Bay 4 who have yet to be beaten here at the National Interclub, who are 2-1 lead over Stoke. And also in the Stokes Valley Elmwood Park men's semi-final in the singles, that's going the way so far of Kelvin Scott, 8-4 over Seamus Curtin. So Elmwood Park leading the singles. Seamus Curtin unbeaten, just like Shannon McElroy here at the National Interclub. In the pairs, Elmwood with a 4-3 lead after 4 of the 18 ends. And in the fours, Elmwood Park also leading 4-1. So very strong start for Elmwood Park in their blockbuster semi-final against Stokes Valley. Stokes Valley have had certainly a season to remember, starting with that Bowls 3-5 title late last year, and it's continuing on there.
Stokes Valley certainly one of the form clubs going around now with some of those young players, Seamus Curtin, Finbar McGuigan, Caleb Hope. Look at this from Edwards. And again, Brendan, we're talking here. Here's Joe Edwards' first bowl. Just lower the jack straight away, getting control of the head, putting the pressure on Linda Ralph directly after her first bowl. And in singles, that's what makes such a big difference. So we watch this Linda Ralph bowl trying to get down to the Edwards bowl. Is it going to have enough weight to get past it? Yes, it will. Touches the jack off the centre line, makes shot of it. Well played by the Carlton player. Certainly one now to Linda Ralph.
Joe Edwards is asking Margaret Gray, our market Burnside member here, just get location of where that bowl is. Linda Ralphs, which is now the shot.
Edwards play on her backhand, just keeping on that draw line to get down to the shot bowl or the jack. And this bowl's on a good line as well of Joe Edwards. Is it going to come all the way? It's going to be close. Is it going to sit inside or outside the bowl? Just sits on the back of the Linda Ralph bowl.
A fair effort. She claps her hands together in a disappointment, frustration. It wasn't the other side of that Linda Ralph bowl.
It was only a bowl away, really, Brenton, of being inside that
fair
line
effort, wasn't
to where the shot bowl is. You can see where the bowl finished, where the Edwards bowl finished. So it was only a bowl away from the shot. There's now Linda Ralph again on that same line, coming down towards her shot bowl. Is it going to get past the front bowl? Yes, it will. Here's another good bowl from the Carlton player. That's certainly 2 shots. And one would think only leaves either play with weight on the forehand to try and split the bowls, or move, and doing so move the jack back to where you can see the Joe Edwards bowl just low of the 2 metre mark. And Joe Edwards just waiting. And that looks to be Brendan the shot that Joe Edwards is electing to play down through there with a yard of weight to try and get a split on the 2 counting Linda Ralph bowls on the forehand. That's exactly what Edwards is doing. Needs to get past that bowl. To be careful here, could make 3 of it. No, it doesn't, but
may well
have rolled it in behind the head.
Yeah, halfway down she knew it was a bit narrow. She's going to run into the short bowl.
Yeah, that thing for Linda Ralph here. 2 and a measure. You heard Margaret Gray call. So that one of the bowls that Joe Edwards just rolled out into the draw line. So just a slight adjustment of Linda Ralph's draw line to get into the counting area. You just see at the point of delivery, the bowl movement out of the hand, the difference between Joe Edwards and Linda Ralph. There's a good attempt here by Linda Ralph. Very, very good bowl here going for Linda Ralph. May just go too far, but certainly if it falls in...
I'd favour that. I would certainly favour that. But it's whether it's closer than that.
I think we'll see that. Definitely 2.
Definitely 2. They're not going to bother measuring for the 3rd, or no, they will.
4 well-played bowls there by Linda Ralph. Doesn't look as that bowl's in. And
2. So 2 to Linda Ralph. So it's 6-4 the score now. Still Joe Edwards leading Linda Ralph in this singles matchup of our women's semi-final. We are bringing to you here from the Burnside Bowling Club. As at the National Interclub Sevens, we will have the men's final for you from around midday.
The 27 clubs from around New Zealand, from each of the respective centres, qualified to get to Burnside to play in this national final. They all won their way through, and they started their play, or some sections. The 6-round sections, of course, they started their play on Thursday afternoon, where they played a couple of rounds, and then the other teams got underway on Friday, and they played right through yesterday afternoon, and they played their round robin. So great support from all of the centres around New Zealand to have literally every centre in New Zealand having their club represented, and it highlights, Brendan, how the clubs and players view the importance to them and their clubs of this particular National Interclub.
Well, it went away, didn't it, for a year? The last event was held in 2018, which was for Eastbourne, the last of their hat-trick of National Interclub titles. The event was canned in 2019. Of course, 2020 it was meant to be brought back, but we all know with COVID it did not take place. So it's been a 3-year absence for this tournament, but great to have it back. I know the clubs love having this chance to test themselves against the best clubs in the country, and it certainly is a title that everyone wants. I think at Mangawhai were the last women's champions in 2018.
So we're
And you have Carlton, Cornwall and Nelson trying to add their name to the silverware. I think they've actually yet to commission a new men's trophy because they can't find the old men's trophy, but I saw the women's one the other day with all the names on it, all the successful clubs in the past. One of those being United, with Joe Edwards has won a couple of times with.
Linda Ralph trailing Joe Edwards 6-4, but has opened up on this end, holding 2 shots, one right on the centre line. The jack is sitting on the 2 metre mark. Another one's sitting jack level. You'll see the Joe Edwards bowl just sitting under the number. She's going to under the line slightly with this bowl, will more than likely finish just lower the jack, and it does. It will be, I'd say, 2 down. See whether Linda Ralph now elects to change her hand, not wanting to run into that jack low bowl of Joe Edwards, and Linda Ralph looks as though she's going to rightly go to her backhand. It depends now how far this is going to come back. It's breaking towards the centre line now. May well get a touch on the jack. No, it doesn't. Finishes jack level. Another good bowl though from the Carlton Cornwall singles player.
Could very well be 3, couldn't it?
Just asking Margaret Gay, the marker.
2 down.
Was the call.
It's great to have volunteers here from the Burnside Club helping out. Margaret Gray marking, and Shirley Clark looking after the scoreboard here for us of our singles match of this women's semi-final. 2 big clubs in the women's game, in particular for Nelson and Carlton Cornwall. Very strong all-round club out of Auckland.
Here is now 2 down, Joe Edwards on the backhand to Linda Ralph. Drawn 3 bowls, very, very close to the jack. Edwards endeavouring to get under the jack level bowl. Well, this falls in, and it does. So I'm sure Linda Ralph asking the question.
Yes, Shirley Clark, who's looking after the board here for us. Big thank you to all the members throughout Burnside who have made us feel so at home here over these last few days. I'll bring you the final day of these National Interclub Sevens, really the end of the summer of bowls. Last major event.
Linda Ralph again, has got the weight to get into the scoring area. Just sit outside her own bowl.
We've still got some winter events to bring in the coming months. We've got Bowls 3-5 National Interclub with 2 sides. We're moving into the competition on Sky Sport. And then we have the Champion of Champions events, singles, pairs, triples and fours, which Kevin and I will be bringing to you over a month in July. And then late in winter, early spring, we'll have the North v South, which I know Kevin and myself are very much looking forward to bringing to you.
So Joe Edwards only needs a slight correction to get inside the Linda Ralph bowl. And again, just going to go sit outside the centre line, see what the market and what gets indicated.
I think it might still be 2 for Linda Ralph.
Definitely 1's come out, and it's 2. From out, looking at the monitor, it looks as though 2 may be the final count, but of course the angles are different.
Yeah, marker had 2 blue markers ready to put up, so that was certainly what Margaret Gray thought from her eyesight. We'll see what the tape measure tells us.
It is
2 confirmed, so 6 apiece now between Joe Edwards and Linda Ralph. So good little comeback from Linda Ralph. Scored 2s on the last couple of ends to come back from 6-2 down to level the scores at 6 apiece.
So you'll see the mat right back on the 2 metre mark. Linda Ralph, these two players, because at this point of the game they're quite content to play both of them a pretty consistent length. And this one here will be right on the 2 metre mark, so it's the mat's sitting at the 2 metre mark and the jack's been delivered and placed right on the 2 metre mark, so we've got a full length head. Linda Ralph play on her backhand. Very consistent draw player, as we said right from the outset, and you'll see that little twirl on the bowl at the delivery point. Of course, the danger of it, Linda Ralph does it very, very well. Of course, that does give a tendency for your bowl to run on the narrow side a bit if you don't get it right. Whereas the delivery of Joe Edwards, which we all know, is very consistent. It's on a different, wider arc for sure than the Linda Ralph bowl. Breaks its way down towards the jack in the 2 metre mark, and will finish right dead on the centre line, just lower the jack. And you can certainly, I was even sitting here in the monitor, there's a very clear place on the green where you can see where that arc is on that backhand side. Linda Ralph just checking the bolt in her hand. Following Joe Edwards on the backhand. Is on a again. It's going to hold up long enough to get under the Joe Edwards bowl and get a feather off it. Yes, it does. Make shot of it. So Edwards may play one more on her backhand to give her a bowl on that side of the head, and then might search down on her forehand to get to the shot bowl or the jack. Edwards will be endeavouring, if she doesn't get the shot here, to finish out on that backhand side to give her a good shot percentage opportunity. But she might just draw the shot as well. Not going well, falls in and out. Linda Ralph asking, is she? She is.
The last ball, and it's one ball in front of the jack.
So Linda Ralph just asking the position of that last Joe Edwards bowl, and Margaret Gray advising her that it's just one bowl, jack low.
See the scores in our other disciplines here in our women's semi-final. Carlton Cornwall 6-4 up in the pairs and 3-2 up in the fours, so going well for Carlton Cornwall. They've turned the table somewhat after a strong start from Nelson, and Linda Ralph levelling the scores here. Almost got unlucky there and almost promoted that Joe Edwards bowl. We're happy that she only rocked it.
So it looks the indication from Margaret Gray that it is shot, the Linda Ralph bowl, and as we thought, Joe Edwards now changing, and here's one of the legends of the game in behind, standing there, the great Mari Watson standing there, of course, who won numerous New Zealand titles, of course, way back at the Commonwealth Games, won the gold medal in the pairs with Judy Howard. Needs to get a slide off the bowl to get to the jack, all but that was the shot.
So close.
That was the shot for Joe Edwards. She got
A bit of a sigh there from Joe Edwards.
Oh, there's a two-shot opportunity there, Brendan, either the jack or if you dislodge the bowl through the head, because Mari Watson won the pairs with Judy Howard at Pakuranga at the Commonwealth Games and represented New Zealand for many, many years, and was one of the inaugural inductees to the Bowls New Zealand Hall of Fame, living in Nelson, and certainly formerly of Christchurch, of course, now living in Nelson, and her and her husband Ken certainly still great followers and supporters. This is a good bowl here from Linda Ralph, and gets a clap on the side of the leg from Joe Edwards. Drew round to Joe Edwards' second shot bowl.
And she needed one past the head, didn't she, as
Absolutely.
well? And couldn't have really got it in a better place, because now that really eliminates the shot that Joe Edwards played previously and trying to move the jack. Because if it does go, it might go straight into that Linda Ralph bowl.
Well, I think Joe Edwards is more than likely committed herself with that weight, Brendan, to endeavour to play that shot again.
And if she does succeed, really the best she could hope for really is a 1 now, rather than a decent 2 or 3.
And Edwards searching for the inside of the bowl of the jack, and just goes by.
Shakes her hands and then folds them. Disappointed. So it should be another 1, potentially 2 to Linda Ralph here.
Well played by Linda Ralph, especially that last bowl, as you said, Brendan, because it just gave her more security around the head.
2 going up for Linda Ralph, so 3 2s and 3 ends for Linda Ralph, as she's turned a 6-2 deficit into an 8-6 advantage. Also had some updates from the men's semi-finals taking place on the other green here at Burnside. In the singles, it's Stokes' Shannon McElroy, who is leading Browns Bay's Colin Rogan, 7-4. In the pairs, Stoke leading Browns Bay 9-1 after 5 of the 18 ends. And in the fours, Browns Bay leading Stoke 4-1 after 3 of the 15 ends. And in the Stokes Valley Elmwood Park semi-final, it is Elmwood Park's Kelvin Scott who is leading Stokes Valley's Seamus Curtin 10-7 in the singles. The pairs going the way of Elmwood Park 7-3 after 6 of the 18 ends, and after 5 of the 15 ends in the fours, it is Elmwood Park leading Stokes Valley 7-2. So Stokes Valley in a very strong position there. Still relatively early days and nothing overly unassailable, but still Elmwood Park in that blockbuster semi-final against Stokes Valley in control at this stage of all 3 disciplines.
Well, we know how strong the Stokes Valley side is, but let's also compliment, as far as Elmwood are concerned, Brendan, because they've got a very, very strong side.
Well, when you've got Gary Lawson, Kelvin's got Lance Pascoe on your side, and then you add Nathan Glasson, Liam Ethorn and Steve Ditford, of course members of the Bolts 3-5 team on Sky Sport as well. Very strong. Side. And then Paul McKinnell rounding out their 7.
Well, of course, Paul McKinnell for many, many years was very well performed at the Nationals. Formerly played out of Southland and then moved to Christchurch. And Paul McKinnell was in the Southland team for a number of years, and certainly got down to the low numbers in national singles and pairs in years gone by. As we see, Joe Edwards is drawn just level with the jack. Linda Ralph trying to get inside to that Edwards bowl. Is going to sit jack level, and certainly these 2 players, Brenton, are putting on a pretty good drawing exhibition. And the green, of course, with the speed of the green and the trueness of the surface, certainly allows these top players to really play at their best. Looks on the wider side, this bowl of Joe Edwards, but we know gets a big draw at the finish to the Edwards bowl. Should be quite happy with that bowl though, just in behind the head. Gives her the opportunity now to change her hand, of course, and any jack movement now will favour the Nelson player. Linda Ralph never to get another bowl, and she'll be more than happy if she got a touch on the jack as well. Playing on the forehand. And certainly if it gets past the Joe Edwards bowl, not quite, need another yard of weight to get under the front bowl. And they heard there Joe Edwards asking Margaret Gray, just the one down. And she responded it is. So we've seen Linda Ralph score, as Brendan said, 3 consecutive 2s, 6-2 behind. 3 2s has taken Linda Ralph from Carlton Cornwall to an 8-6 lead. And here's this bowl of Edwards playing the shot that we talked about. Gets a touch on the jack. Don't think it was enough to make shot. Still favour the Linda Ralph bowl at this point. Joe Edwards played that shot that we thought under the bowl with just, and Linda Ralph now changing her hand, which I thought was certainly a better percentage shot on the backhand than what the forehand presents. She gets to touch the jack around the corner, takes that. Joe Edwards just makes it a bit harder for Joe Edwards, but it's going to be on that wider side.
See a great crowd coming into Burnside as well, which is great to see. Always been a great supporter of bowls, the Burnside Club, but also just the locals here in Christchurch.
So Joe Edwards asking Margaret Gray, do I have 2 seconds? Indication if I've got 2 seconds. If the marker can't give Joe a clear answer, it would mean that it's not quite sure. One and a measure for there. Does it make a difference of the weight? Joe Edwards coming to have a look, which I thought she may do, because if she has got 2 seconds, I'm sure we will see Joe Edwards use weight, because if we look at where the jack's placed, and you'll see Edwards doesn't want the jack going directly back, because there's 2 bowls you'll see there of Linda Ralph's straight in that jack line off the centre line. So Joe Evans, you might have heard her just say then, it's really close of whether Joe Evans has got 2 seconds, definitely got 1 second, but looking at the 2 bowls, Joe Edwards bowled in behind the head, just off the centre line, and the front bowler, Linda Ralph's. That'll make a difference to the weight that Joe Edwards now elects to play to the shot bowl of Linda Ralph's. Of course, doesn't want the jack to go back directly. This is 2 bowls of Linda Ralph's sitting directly behind on the centre line. So playing with weight to either get to the jack or to dislodge. As close here as Joe Edwards, very close to the jack as Edwards, very close to the jack, and could make definitely 2 of it.
Yeah, I think there'll be 2. Joe Edwards sharing a few words with those watching on.
3 it is. Superb weighted bowl there from Joe Edwards. That shot option was on to get that, to sit the bowl and get the trail on the jack.
Yeah, very well executed. So from maybe holding shot, maybe even being down, to turning into 3 to now take the lead. Joe Edwards 9, now leading against Linda Ralph 8. And in the other semi-final taking place here on this green, Nainai and Takapuna. Lisa White of Nainai leading Selena Smith of Takapuna in the singles 9-8, so very tight between 2 very good singles players in the pairs. Takapuna leading 5-3 after 6 of the 18 ends, and after 6 of the 15 ends in the 4s, it's Nainai with a slender 6-5 advantage. So Nainai leading 2 of the 3 disciplines, but only by a shot, and so that semi-final looks like it's going to go all the way. Taking place on the screen, we'll keep you up to date with that one as we continue our coverage of this Nelson Carlton Cornwall women's semi-final, and we'll also keep you up to date with the men's semi-finals, which are taking place on the other green here at Burnside.
Well, standing behind there just alongside Val Smith, you'll see one of our former world champions, Andy Curtin, who of course who lives down here in Christchurch, but also has been a member and played out of the Nelson Bowling Club. And we know, of course, Curtin won gold medal, won a gold star holder with New Zealand titles, won a world title in South Africa on the New Zealand side, and played for the New Zealand Blackjacks for many, many years. Did Andy Curtin, one of the very colourful and enjoyable character as we watch this second bowl of Joe Edwards. Going to sit on what is the shot bowl. holding 2 at this very early stage. Of course, ends don't come into the frame here. It's just a race to 21.
You can see our scoreboard in the top left-hand corner. This is the only discipline Nelson are leading at the moment. Carlton Cornwall have a 7-5 advantage in the pairs, and 5-2 they lead in the fours. Still very close in all 3. So this semi-final, like the other semi-final on this green between Takapuna and Nainai, looks like it is going to go the distance. Very hard to separate these 4 sides on the green. There's a beautiful bolt from Linda Ralph. She had space to draw the shot and drew it right alongside the jack.
Yeah, took one bowl behind the jack.
So
Just one bowl behind.
Margaret Gray, it's 1 bowl jack height. So Edwards will come up, no doubt, on her backhand to try and reach that bowl or get to the jack.
It's interesting, isn't it? From our pictures, it looks like it's dead level, but obviously, you've got the marker right there. He's able to get right over the top of the head to give us the accurate story. And it's another decent bowl from Joe Edwards, but it doesn't change the situation. It's got 3 bowls all alongside each other.
It's imperative here that Linda Ralph gets another bowl close, because I've got an idea that the next shot from Joe Edwards may well be attacking weight. 3 bowls all in the line there, and the shot bowl sort of just sitting out a wee bit. The jack or the bowl is a good result for Joe Edwards. And Linda Ralph's on that same line again as what was her counting bowl. Going to get inside the bowl. She will, and makes. We still might see Edwards now got 2 bowls to rest on that searching weight. I'm sure Joe Edwards may just bring that line in fractionally, just give herself another metre of weight to get down that line out of the hand. It certainly looked to be trying to search down on that narrow line. It's not going to come back. It's got the weight that we spoke about, Brenton, but not going to. But turned one of her bowls over the head, whether that sitting right on the centre line, asking Linda Ralph whether she's holding 2 shots. That bowl that rolled in behind the head may well have become second shot. Is 2 from the call from Margaret Gray. So Linda Ralph will try and add now on her backhand. She's drawn those 2 good shots. She gave the indication out of her hand that it wasn't.
Yeah, this isn't going to change the situation. Another good end for Linda Ralph.
Well, if you look at those 8 bowls, Brendan, really, they're all literally, you know, either jack level or just over the jack, all within a metre. So very, very consistently. And 2 it is. You'll see Margaret Gray, the marker, put the lollipops up.
So 10-9. Linda Ralph taking back the lead against Joe Edwards. This is a really tight singles contest between 2 very strong players. Of course, we don't need to say anything more about great Joe Edwards. He's the most capped player of all time and has won absolutely everything in the world of bowls, outdoors, indoors. Multiple world champion, Commonwealth Games golds. And Linda Ralph, very accomplished player out of Auckland. Part of, as Kevin mentioned, that Auckland side which won the National Winter Centre a few years ago. And now trying to help with Carlton Cornwall in the final of the Women's National Interclub here in Christchurch.
Good opening bowl here by Linda Ralph, coming back towards the jack, just inside the centre line, but perfect weight. Brenton said, good crowd getting here at Burnside. Still only, of course, 9:30, so you can see there, see the crowd that's assembling here from the various centres and bowlers in Christchurch. Jeanette Sinclair, former New Zealand president, sitting there. See Taylor Bruce, current New Zealand blackjack, also there in the crowd, who of course plays out of Burnside.
Yeah, I suppose it's one of the surprises that the hometown team here and the Women's National Interclub didn't make it through to the quarterfinals, that being Canterbury 2017. So it's going to be side from outside the host centre who's going to be taking this National Interclub Sevens title. Is it going to be going to Nelson, Auckland, North Harbour, or Wellington is the question.
Well, of course, both North Harbour men and women's sides, of course, still going.
Both Nelson.
Both Nelson sides.
Both Wellington.
Both Wellington sides still going.
Yeah. So, and the others being Canterbury and the men, and Auckland here and the women.
So you'll see the shot bowl of Linda Ralph sitting right on the centre line, lower the jack. Joe Edwards draw to the centre line, right to the jack. That'll be the shot itself. That backhand side. Ralph now, of course, just get past her own bowl to sit on the Joe Edwards bowl, or get a touch on the jack. Just asking how far away, what the distance is between. There it is, you'll see. And asking how far short is what is the Linda Ralph bowl. You'll see the marker indicate literally just a metre. So Linda Ralph will try and get past her own bowl, get to the Joe Edwards shot bowl on the backhand. Leading 10-9 in the race to 21 is Linda Ralph of the Carlton Cornwall Club. And how far is this bowl going to come back? It's going to get back far enough. Certainly had the right intention with that yard of weight, but just going to hang out on that. It was more the weight than anything. Came right back to the centre line. Joe Edwards now will know I need to get another bowl. Linda Ralph will certainly endeavour to reach what is the shot bowl with the last bowl. Joe Edwards, how far is this going to come back? Certainly it's got good weight. It hasn't come back far enough. Linda Ralph now will endeavour again to. It's a good sighter for that jack level bowl of Joe Edwards, actually, because she knows if she's just inside that bowl, has got a chance of getting to the shot bowl.
Updates of the men's semi-finals taking place at the other green here at Burnside, and the Browns Bay Stoke semi-final. It is Shannon McElroy of Stoke who's leading Colin Rogan of Browns Bay 9-5. And the Piers, there's a great bowl from Linda Ralph, absolutely to perfection, sits in front of what was the shot bowl of Joe Edwards, touches the jack.
It was interesting, Brendan, we mentioned before Linda Ralph played the bowl, that jack level bowl of Joe Edwards was an opportunity on a draw line just to be inside that. Well, in fact, Linda Ralph just got a touch on the inside of the Joe Edwards bowl, which just helped it slightly to get to the right result. What was always going to be close though was that bowl. Well played bowl. Linda Ralph. Here's Edwards now down on the head.
Doesn't like this one. Slaps the thigh. Looking down as she makes her way to the head. As one of our spectators has decided to stand right in front of the camera. Thank you, sir. And should just be the one. Yeah, one confirmed. So another for Linda Ralph. So from 6-2 down, she has since scored 9-3. Linda Ralph will take this 11-9 advantage. And as I was mentioning before, we do have some updates from the other green, the men's semi-final. So Shannon McElroy leading Colin Rogan. That's Stoke over Browns Bay in the singles 9-5. The pairs, Stoke in command 13-2 after 8 of the 18 ends. And the fours, Stoke now with the lead 5-4 over Browns Bay, so Stoke leading in all 3 disciplines, as are Elmwood Park still in their semi-final against Stokes Valley. Singles, Kelvin Scott 15-7 over Seamus Curtin, who was previously unbeaten here. 7 from 7 entering this semi-final in the singles. The pairs, Elmwood Park with an 8-4 advantage, so that has tightened up somewhat. It was 7, pretty similar, 7-3 before, now 8-4. Fours, though, is where Elmwood Park have taken command there as well. 11-2 after 7 of the 15 ends. Elmwood Park over Stokes Valley. So Elmwood Park and Stoke looking on a collision course there to the final. Still a lot of work to go, though, in those men's semi-finals. And we have our women's semi-finals we are bringing to you here between Nelson and Carlton Cornwall. It's Carlton Cornwall leading in the singles. Linda Ralph leading Joe Edwards 11-9. And in the pairs, right on cue, is Carlton Cornwall, who leading 9-5, and in the fours leading 9-2. So Carlton Cornwall leading all 3 disciplines. Very strong side, but would be somewhat of an upset if they can pull this off against Nelson, of course, who both 3 members of their centre side, which won the National Inter Centre Championship just in Wellington at the Wilton Bowling Club last month.
Well, it is, you know, to me the fours, because I did the coverage for the Auckland finals, of which Carlton obviously won, and it's interesting they've made a change around in their fours side. Karen de Jong was skipping in the Auckland playoffs, and they beat Royal Oak, in fact, in the final, and they've had a change around now with Ashley Jeffcoat going to skip. And interesting, the lead, of course, Kimberly Hemingway, last weekend, in fact, won the Auckland singles, so is in form. And Bev Crow, well, Bev's been around a few seasons, of course, one in New Zealand pairs, one in New Zealand fours. Karen Hemet, very, very well performed player in Auckland, and Lisa Bordeaux, of course, who with Val Smith has won the New Zealand pairs now 2 of the last 3 years, and a beaten semi-finalist in that other year. So along with Linda Ralph, perhaps not as strong as the likes of the Val Smiths and Joe Edwards combination, etc., but very, very steady side out of Auckland is that Carlton Cornwall side.
Yeah, we're at 4 and is yet to lose. In fact, either 4. Ashley Jeffcoat's Carlton Cornwall 4, 6 from 6. Val Smith's 4, 5 wins and a draw from their 6 games. So
it stands up why they up where they're at now. Their consistent performances, really, isn't it? And Linda Ralph again opened up with a very, very good opening bowl, and certainly no way is overawed by playing the great Joe Edwards, and is playing very, very well, is the South African born Linda Ralph.
She's a very experienced player, isn't she, in her own right? And that will help when you're playing someone like Joe Edwards. More unlikely to be daunted by the occasion. Well, no doubt I've played Joe Edwards previously at national tournaments.
And of course Linda Ralph, her sister, is another player out of the Carlton Cornwall club, Estelle Hickey, who has won a number of Auckland titles. So that the sisters, along with their mother, former South African player, certainly very strong force in the bowls fraternity. And Linda Ralph again getting down inside the Joe Edwards bowl. It's got a wee bit more weight on. Is it going to get the jack again? No, it doesn't, but sits just in behind, because the jack, of course, has been moved off the 2 metre mark. Linda Ralph is certainly getting good opening bowls off the head with the first 2 bowls. Certainly, as Brendan and I said earlier, it makes such a vast difference for your management of the head. If you can get that first bowl close in a good strong position. Joe Edwards, though, this is on a good line as we watch this just get towards the jack now. Is it going to sit on the shot bowl? No, it doesn't. Just slip by with perfect weight. And of course, Ralph can draw a third here. Sits inside the Joe Edwards bowl on that backhand side of the rink. Can certainly make 3 shots of it and put the pressure right on Joe Edwards. Well, she doesn't like this bowl. You can see the body language tells you. I can see why. It's gone very, very, very
Oh, the
wide.
hand over the face with such great concern. It was like she'd done something absolutely horrific there on the green. Just a slightly wayward bowl. I think it's still within the markers. So it was still on the playing surface, but yeah, not up to her usual standards. And was quite horrified, wasn't she, with that bowl of hers?
So here's the number 3 bowl of Joe Edwards. Needs to get inside her own bowl or turn it into 2 rolls, and he got 1 roll out of it.
No.
And asking the marker, Margaret Gray,
You have 1 shot.
heard the call there, 1 shot at this point to Linda Ralph. So she'll certainly endeavour to change that line from her last bowl, the 3rd bowl. Perfect conditions here. As you watch this bowl of Linda Ralph, needs to get inside the Joe Edwards bowl and is going to do so. If it gets a touch on the jack, could make 3 and does.
Applauded by the good crowd here at Burnside, watching on. And this singles semi-final, of course, whenever Joe Edwards is involved, extra interest of New Zealand's greatest ever players, if not the greatest ever player. Everything she's done internationally.
The difficulty for Joe Edwards is to get, no doubt she'd like to play with weight to get down to the jack, and that's the indication that she wishes to play, but that just needs to make sure this is that front bowl of hers and doesn't get too wide on it, otherwise we'll get no contact at all. But we know the ability that Joe Edwards has got. Well played by Linda Ralph, just got that touch on the jack with the last bowl. Certainly has put the pressure now on Joe Edwards. Linda Ralph leading 11-9 and definitely holding 2, maybe 3 shots. So Joe Edwards will reach down with a yard of weight to try and get inside the bowls to the jack. It's on a good line, this bowler, Joe Edwards. Have a look at this. This is close to that shot we're talking about. Brendan, how's that shot? How's that?
Oh, brilliant. And I think Nelson, just on the rink alongside, were applauding some good play. And then straight after that, almost with a spring in her step, Joe Edwards converts from 3 down to, is it 2 or just 1? It's just the 1, but expertly done from Joe Edwards. And you saw her come down the green and rightly celebrate that one. And roared on by Nelson teammates next door in the 4s. So 1-shot game now. Could have been a big opening in that game, couldn't it? Could have been 5-shot advantage to Linda Ralph. Had been for that bowl there for Joe Edwards. So 11-10, Linda Ralph leading Joe Edwards in the singles match of our women's semi-final. Carlton Cornwall up against Nelson.
Great coaching lesson in that particular bowl that Joe Edwards played after Linda Ralph moved the jack. Joe Edwards immediately came down to the head, had a look, saw where her line had to be with that front bowl in front, just made it a bit more challenging. Didn't charge at the head at 100 miles an hour, knew what weight she had to play, and gave herself the best shot option and percentage option and played an absolutely remarkable bowl. And you know, the lesson there for people is that take your time, look at where you have to play your bowl to get the best result, and be confident in the weight that you play. And Joe Edwards highlighted that just then and couldn't have played it any better. And we've seen here from Joe Edwards a change of length. Not put off by that though is Linda Ralph, who draws just lower the jack.
Oh, that's great from Linda Ralph. Could have, you know, been a bit disheartened about what happened on the previous
Absolutely.
end, given that she played 3 fantastic bowls and then by her own reaction, 1 horrific bowl, which
Yes.
where she was so disappointed in, covering her mouth. But to hold 3 and then for Jo Edwards to play an absolute bomb like that, you could understand if she was a bit disheartened, but straight back on the money, as is Jo Edwards with her second. Just comes past the head, but right in line on that centre line.
$11.10 in the race to 21 to the Carlton Cornwall player Linda Ralph. Holding shot. This one here's, will this come back far enough? You'll see a distinctive green patch there, and one would tell you that the actual draw line is just touching the inside of that. Jo Edwards now will look, because she has to narrow her line now to get the optimum shot. Draw underneath that last bowl of Linda Ralph's. On the backhand, needs to make sure under this bowl, well under it, walks away, knew straight away that
It turns her back on that one. That one, Jo Edwards to remember. Possibly her most wayward bowl of the match to date.
certainly was. Linda Ralph now needs to, she'll endeavour to get under what is her shot bowl. If she's inside the shot bowl, inside the front bowl, and doesn't like this one either, pushed it out on that wide side. All of a sudden we've seen a couple of wayward bowls where just the one down. Jo Edwards asking the marker. Yeah, well, I thought Jo Edwards may ask that question, and you might see reaching with a wee bit of weight to try and get to what is the shot bowl. Put a bit of pressure on Linda Ralph with her last.
Yeah, force her to make the big correction. If she can execute here, Jo Edwards, and get rid of that shot bowl. Looks on a decent line. Oh, it gets the jack, the next best result. Is that toucher going to stay on? It does. Spray goes in. Well within the marker.
Linda Ralph literally got a metre to draw the shot. That might sound easy, but it's very challenging when the jack has been moved way off the centre line, which Jo Edwards did with her last bowl. So it's got to sort of needs to get under all the way here. Not going to, I don't think.
Has it got the weight?
Has it got the weight
I
to get
think
under?
it-
Yes, it will. Just gets underneath it. It's another one to the Carlton Cornwall player.
Yeah, so very well done for Linda Ralph. As you said, there was a metre and a bit to draw the shot, but had to execute. That jack moved well off the centre line.
The important thing was really not to get the bowl out too wide, because you're in foreign territory, and of course there's a chance of the bowl not making its way back.
Yeah, she assessed the situation quite well, didn't she? Knowing that she could pretty much draw back to the centre line as long as she got the weight right, and got the shot. So 12-10. Now, Linda Ralph leading Jo Edwards in the singles of our women's semi-final here at the National Interclub Sevens.
They not know there's a loo in the lobby they can use.
So Linda Ralph now leading 12-10 in this race to 21. Linda Ralph from the Carlton Cornwall Club in Auckland, and Jo Edwards from the Nelson Club. Just going to finish a metre a bit short on the centre line. Leaving the door open now for Joe Edwards to get that first bowl close to the jack. It's going straight to the forehand.
Sorry, Kevin, if you have just joined us recently, both of these players had a great record in the singles here at these National Interclub Sevens in Christchurch. Jo Edwards has won her last 5 after dropping her first singles match, 5 from 6, as is Linda Ralph. So 2 very accomplished Sevens players here at these National Interclub Sevens. And as we've talked about time and time again in this format, the singles, oh so important, often is the discipline which finishes first. And if you can get that first point on the board, you go a big way towards earning a place in the next round. And that was exemplified in the quarterfinals, where all 4 of our semi-finalists, they all won in the singles. Jo Edwards, Linda Ralph for Nelson and Carlton Cornwall respectively, and then Takapuna and Selena Smith, who is perfect 6 from 6 in the singles, and Nine Eyes Lisa White, who has dropped just the 1 of her 7 games in the singles discipline. So that just exemplifies how important these singles is in this format.
Well, if we look at Brendan at those quarter-final matches yesterday, we had Jo Edwards winning hers, I think 21-5, I think it was. Jo Edwards in her singles game yesterday afternoon won hers by 21 shots to 4, and Linda Ralph winning hers by 21 shots to 5. So certainly 2 very, very strong performances. Oh, look what's been delivered here, Brendan.
I've got a glass full of sweets.
So Jo Edwards, of course, drawn the shot just lower the jack, and 2 bowls of Linda Ralph's just sitting right on the centre line. In fact, on the 2 metre mark. Jo Edwards will stay on what is her forehand. One of the Linda Ralph bowls falls over. Won't have made any difference to the position of the head.
You happy to commentate for the rest of the match while I just go stuff my face?
And the Jo Edwards bowl now coming towards the centre line, getting a bit of cover as well in case of that jack trail. Linda Ralph coming up to have a look. There is an opportunity there, Brendan. The bowl's just in behind the head. You see the 2 blue bowls of Linda Ralph. If she can get a touch, Ralph can get a touch on the jack, could make 3 shots of it.
Yeah, either she gets just a little touch on the jack and moves the jack right back to those 2 bowls, or whether she gets the jack clean and might even be enough to hold 3.
Doesn't have to move very fast.
No, he doesn't want it to move it too far.
So the good thing for Ralph is that she can still just play with just play with draw weight. So Linda Ralph trying to take the opportunity. Head goes down. She doesn't like it. It's holding up with weight. It's holding up on this centre, on this line. Is it going to get a touch on the jack? Yes, it does. But the back of the jack just moved it across, and it'll make 2 shots.
Very well executed. Got that little slight touch on the jack to move back to previous 2 bowls. So now putting the pressure back on Jo Edwards, holding a couple. She held 3 playing this way last time. And then Jo Edwards with the last bowl. Stole it from her, grab shot. Can she execute again?
So playing with weight to get down to split the bowls is close. Got 1.
Oh, unfortunate there. Pretty much a perfect bowl. Very unlucky not to get rid of both. But has cut the count to 1.
It was only really half a bowl away, Bennett, from getting the perfect result, the split of the 2 bowls.
bit of a sigh there of frustration from Joe Edwards that didn't go her way. So now Linda Ralph with a 3-shot advantage. 13-10 over Joe Edwards. First to 21 singles, of course. And now feature semi-final between the Carlton Cornwall and Nelson clubs.
Of course, yesterday in those quarterfinals, we saw the Takapuna side of North Harbour defeat the Queenstown side. Nainai defeated Hinuera of the Waikato. And Nelson defeated Kerry from the far north. Great effort from the Kerry side to make their way through into the quarterfinals. And we saw Carlton Cornwall defeat Nongataha of the Bay of Plenty to make their way into the semi-final this morning.
Have some updates from the other green in the men's semi-final. Well, just straight away sticking out to me is Seamus Curtin and his singles match against Calvin Scott. Last update we gave you, he was 15-7 down. That's now 15-all between Seamus Curtin and Calvin Scott. That's the Stokes Valley and Elmwood Park semi-final. Elmwood Park still leading in the other two disciplines, although it has tightened up. The pairs is 11-7 after 12 of the 18 ends. Elmwood Park leading Stokes Valley, and the fours, Elmwood Park with an 11-5 advantage after 9 of the 15 ends. And in the other men's semi-final, that being the Browns Bay Stoke semi-final, Stoke in the singles, that being Shannon McElroy is leading Colin Rogan of Browns Bay 16-8. In the pairs, Stoke leading 13-5 after 11 of the 18 ends, and after 8 of the 15 ends in the fours, Stoke with an 8-6 advantage. So that's the tightest of the three disciplines in the fours, but Stoke ahead in all three, with Elmwood Park ahead in 2 of the 3, the other being level.
So you'll see this second bowler, Linda Ralphs, leading 13-10. The Carlton Cornwall player sits directly behind the 2-metre mark.
And now semi-final. Update from the other two disciplines, the pairs. It is Carlton Cornwall up 10-6, and in the fours, Carlton Cornwall with a 9-5 advantage. So Carlton Cornwall leading all three. Going to cause a bit of a boil over here against Nelson.
Joe Edwards draws the shot right directly in front of the jack, right on the centre line. The jack just a few inches, in fact, been moved off the 2-metre mark.
So the good mates Joe Edwards and Val Smith having a bit of a chat, sharing a joke by the looks of things. Obviously Val Smith always smiling, always laughing.
Yeah, they get on so well, those two, and played so many games for New Zealand together and for Nelson.
Well, they met each other playing cricket from memory.
Correct. Well, both players were very, very good sportswomen in a number of chosen sports, cricket, football, softball. So been a number, of course, and Joe, husband Dave, the Edwards name, and Nelson, of course, so synonymous, of course, with cricket, with the late Jock. All part of the dynasty of the Edwards dynasty of Nelson. The Hodgson Edwards sort of legacy of sport in Nelson has been dominant in both cricket and bowls. Linda Ralph in the Carlton Cornwall colours.
Yeah, from memory it was the Nelson under-19 cricket team, which her now husband Dave Edwards was coaching. Val Smith was in, became great mates with Val Smith from that moment onwards, and eventually married
and here they
Dave
are.
Edwards. So
look at this bowler, Linda Ralph. It looks as though it might be just one roll short of getting the shot. The Edwards front bowl, still the shot, as Brendan said before, can be difficult with the angles in the monitor. Good crowd, as you say, Brendan. You'll see assembling around the side of the green there.
Yeah, on the side of the green, it's standing room only, isn't it? All the seats have been taken up. A few spots in behind the rinks course.
And no doubt there'll be a good number of people out on the front green as well, where the men are playing their semi-final. So we're in for a good crowd here this afternoon, when the final will get under, the men's and women's finals will get underway here at around 12 o'clock.
Yeah, they'll both be on the number 1 green here at Burnside.
So Joe Edwards playing with weight to try and search to turn the Ralph bowl over. It's an indication that, was she going for the big number, going for 3, or in fact was she is 1 down? We'll see in a moment.
I would have thought she's 1 down. It's hard to tell from an angle. Is that 1 blue? I think that's 1 blue that's gone up. Yeah, and Linda Ralph's got the jack in the mat, so Carlton Cornwall score another 14-10 now for Linda Ralph over Joe Edwards in this singles matchup. Got the 4s, the pairs happening alongside as well. The singles match usually so important, and if the singles does indeed finish before our pairs and 4s, we will move over. So stick with us until we have an outcome from the semi-final, and then from around midday we will have the men's final for you. At this stage it's looking like Stoke taking on Elmwood Park. Still a little bit of water to go under the bridge there.
You'll see Joe Edwards there, the jackets come off in the new Nelson shirts, which very kind sponsor, and this is, I think this is their first outing, the new Nelson Club shirts which they're wearing. And as you said before, Brendan, what a great boost for the club, getting the services of Joe Edwards and Val Smith, and you're playing in your club, and it's great to have them back here in New Zealand.
Oh, it certainly is, and it is where they started their bowls, isn't it?
It certainly is.
At Nelson.
And we watched this, the first bowl of Joe Edwards draw right to that centre line. And we've got to say, Brendan, both of these players, if you took their consistency of effective bowls to the centre line in scoring opportunities, there hasn't been that many wayward bowls really. They've both been pretty consistent. Linda Ralph has had a couple of bowls which have sort of been a bit wayward, but overall the consistency of the draw of the two players has been first class.
And our other semi-final on the screen, I can let you know a bit of a change in the singles. Selena Smith now leading Lisa White 14-12. Last update we had for you was Lisa White with a 9-8 advantage. So it's now Selena Smith of Takapuna leading 9-Eye's Lisa White. In the pairs, 9-Eye with a slender advantage, 8-7 after 10 of the 18 ends. And in the 4s, it's now going the way of Takapuna, 11-6. So they have scored the last 6 because they were down 6-5 last time we brought you an update. So after 9 of the 15 ends, Takapuna leading 11-6. So up in 2 of the 3, although 2, in particular the singles and the pairs, very tight at this stage. After 4s, Takapuna 4 can do that. That will be a bit of an upset because the 9-Eye 4 have yet to be beaten here at these National Interclub 7s. One of the big reasons why they've made it through to the semi-finals, whereas the Takapuna 4 are only playing at 50%, 3 of 6 here at the National Interclub 7s, although they did, of course, win their semi-final yesterday.
Here's Linda Ralph again, 2 down on the head, draws right to the centre line, in behind the jack. And 9-Eye, Brenton, have been, it's fair to say, throughout section play and the women's section play, very dominant in their results, haven't they? They sort of not saying
only two losses throughout all 3 disciplines.
This is amazing.
That includes the quarter-final. Two losses and 1 draw. So Lisa White's lost once, the pair have lost once, and the 4 have
What a response here from Joe Edwards. Have a look at this. Sits right inside the Linda Ralph bowl on the forehand, draws the shot.
Oh, this is singles of the higher standard draw play, isn't it, from these two, Joe Edwards and Linda Ralph.
So Ralph again will endeavour to come down on that backhand, her backhand side to draw down to the Joe Edwards shot bowl, just sitting in behind the jack. So Linda Rolfe standing on the mat looking at the bowl. Is it going to come back all the way? There's another good attempt. Here's another good attempt coming from Linda Rolfe. Is it going to get to the jack? Yes, it does.
Wonderful. The head changing bowl after bowl after bowl.
One down.
Here's the call from Margaret Gray. Joe Edwards asking whether she was 1 or 2 down. But we're seeing 3 magnificent bowls. Those last 3 bowls been from both players.
One bowl short.
Getting the instruction there from the marker. Margaret Gray is Joe Edwards, asking to get that firmer picture in her mind of what the head looks like. So she can try and execute, try and grab that shot back.
And Edwards trying to get down through this narrow port. Is it going to come
like
back?
it. Halfway down she was
back.
interested.
See the shot that Joe Edwards is endeavouring to play.
Yeah, just got touched on the wide side. So I'll see if it is just the one more. Indeed, one more for Linda Ralph. So 15-10. She now leads. And was 6-2 down. And then it was 9-8 to Joe Edwards, wasn't it? And since that moment, it has been 6-1.
Yeah, well, Linda Rolfe has scored, to say, of the last 7 ends, has scored on 6 of those, 2, and the rest have all been singles to the one that Joe Edwards got to take from 9 to 10. So it's highlighting that Linda Rolfe has obviously been down on the hit, but has had the ability to be able to draw the shot. And when I say draw the shot, in most cases they're drawing within a few inches, really. It's not as though they're wayward bowls, giving you plenty of room to draw.
And bring an update from the other 2 disciplines as well. So Carlton Cornwall still leading all 3 in the pairs, 10-7, and in the fours, 9-6. So still very close in the other 2 disciplines. In fact, the biggest advantage is here in the singles, which is somewhat a surprise when you've got Nelson represented by the multiple World and Commonwealth Games champion Joe Edwards, of course the 2-time defending Commonwealth Games gold medalist in the singles. Won't be seeing her in Birmingham though next year, having announced her retirement from international bowls late last year, but great to see her still performing so well on the national scene. Of course saw her at the national fours and mixed pairs, and then winning the National Intercentre title at the Wilton Bowling Club in Wellington last month for Nelson.
So you can hear some applause there from Nelson, because I know that Nelson just played a very good shot obviously in the fours, and we see them applauding the Colin Earls pairs combination. So as we get down the scoreboard, the sort of urging your team on becomes really, you'll hear a lot of noise as we get down the heads, and it remains tight. We saw Val Smith, applause there, and Linda Rolfe's drawn the shot again here. I think the pleasing thing from a New Zealand point of view, really though, Brendan, yes, it's a shame that Joe Edwards is retired, but it's going to happen always at some point in time. But you know, the evolving form of, for example, Caitlin Inch, based on the now on the Sunshine Coast, playing for Kawana Waters, and also that we've seen I would say the changed improvement of Selena Smith, certainly just gives a bit more confidence, I think, to the New Zealand selectors that, you know, our next crop of players, so to speak, are certainly they're going pretty good.
Yeah, there are a number of players coming through. Future still looks pretty good.
Oh, another good bowl here from Linda Rolfe. She's certainly the Carlton Cornwall player. Started to bowls, of course, at the Howard Club. Certainly playing very, very well. Edwards now Playing with a lot of weight down on the back end, trying to get to the jack. Trying to get the jack clean in the ditch, and does. But unfortunately dislodged her own back bowl as well. But
Which won't be a touch it, so that'll be taken out.
it's taken out. So you'll see the crown of the Edwards bowl sitting up just along from the number. You'll see it sitting there, and the jack
Is right in line with the number.
right on the number.
As indicated by Margaret Gray, the marker. Getting a high five, one of her Nelson teammates from the fours alongside. And Jo Edwards will feed off the energy, you know, hearing the applause from her four and her peer. She's going, all right, maybe I can get things going now as well.
Linda Ralph, one would think here, endeavouring to play for second shot, needs to get past her own short bowls and is just going to do so. Finishes right in front of the number, but will not be shot. The bowl, you see, just fall back, so the bowl in the ditch of Jo Edwards will still be the shot.
So just trying to find out what she needs to do to beat that bowl and how far away from the ditch is the Linda Ralph bowl. And our marker, Margaret Gray, indicating around a metre. Good stride from the ditch. So she'll try and draw in between that bowl and the ditch will Jo Edwards. And it looks like it's got too much weight on it. It's not going to change the situation, but Jo Edwards will be just relieved to be back on the board. And it should be 1 to decorator Jo Edwards.
Oh, the big thing there,
15-11 now, Linda Ralph leading Jo Edwards.
the big thing there, Brenton, of course, you know, not fortunate she got the shot, well played and got the shot, but it was a telling end where Linda Ralph, in fact, was holding 2, could have taken her to 17. You know, could have been 17-10. All of a sudden, that she's within striking distance of that 21. So the conversion shot then of Jo Edwards to get the jack directly into the ditch was certainly, at the stage of the game, a very, very well played and an important shot. Now you'll see here now that Jo Edwards is elected to deliver the jack right to the 2 metre mark, but you'll see the mat has been moved up quite a distance, so that variety of change of length here. Jo Edwards just trying to get something different into the game. And Edwards will respond with a very, very good opening bowl, just going by the jack, but sitting just beyond the 2 metre mark, only under a foot, about a foot away from the jack. So a very good opening bowl there from the former New Zealand world #1 singles player. And of course now the borders is going to open. We'll be playing in the UBC event, an all-women's side. Karen Murphy, I think it's Alan Ryan and Jo Edwards, and they're in fact playing for Weipa, which is way up in the northern reaches, a long way up in Queensland, up past Cairns, inland, and fun enough, it's a New Zealand guy, Fraser Maguire, formerly of Counties Manukau, who's one of the main driving forces behind the club, and they are playing in the UBC. And interesting as well, we just noted only but last week, Karen Murphy now becoming the full-time assistant coach of the Australian side, with Gary Willis changing the guard there, and Karen Murphy will be assuming a full-time role in that role of the coach of the Australian side, but teaming up with Jo Edwards to play in the UBC, which of course a number of New Zealand players are: Ali Forsyth, Shannon McElroy, Gary Lawson, Mike Kernahan, Andrew Kelly. So Jo Edwards sort of putting the pressure on early, but we know Linda Ralph will not be put off. Have a look at this from Ralph. Draws right into the jack, on track to toucher. All played by the Carlton Cornwall player. Jo Edwards now will change her hand.
You must say, every time Jo Edwards has issued a challenge,
Back of the bowl is even with the jack.
it's been answered by Linda Ralph and bettered. It's been very, very impressive by the Carlton Cornwall singles player.
Edwards here changing to the forehand. He will endeavour to get under that short bowl of Ralph and get a touch on the jack, which is the shot bowl. Get a touch on the jack's all to her advantage. This is close. This is close. Have a look at this.
Potentially back to 2 up.
That's the
great
highest
bowls.
class, isn't it, from both players?
Absolutely is. Different ways of skinning the cat, but expertly done.
Of course, as Brendan said, those shots then, just like that shot played by Joe Edwards, just as well, just encourages their other teammates along, the other Nelson combinations. So 2 down would be Linda Ralph, leading 15 to 11, and will endeavour to respond on that backhand. Is it just going to dip under the centre line? Yes, it will.
So an opening here for Joe Edwards. Of course, Linda Ralph still has 1 to play.
Well,
But
Brendan, a 6-inch movement of the jack here could make 4. Joe Edwards, draw down there, gets just a touch on the jack. So you can touch the jack to what is her second shot. Would most likely turn it into 4. So Edwards will play on the backhand. Trying to take that opportunity that's may well be there for her.
and all of a sudden we'd be all tied up, Kevin. What a change that would be from potentially being 17-10 to Linda Ralph.
This is not far away, Brendan. Not far away at all. In fact, it sits on top of the shot pile.
So it's not going to be 15 all. It could very well be 15-14 unless Linda Ralph can pull off something here. She's certainly capable of it. She will have the final say on this end.
One would think, Brendan, that the only shot option really is to play with a lot of weight. More than likely on that forehand side and try and get reduction. And of course, who knows where the jack would go if that contact.
Yeah, the only problem is you don't have anything if you're Linda Ralph beyond the head, do you?
You don't.
Playing with weight. So you play with more reaching weight and try and just cut the count.
I'm certainly not going to be able
Concede
to
you're not
draw
going to win
shot.
the end. But just don't try and drop 3. That's what it's at the moment.
So,
Good third would not be a bad result here.
as we thought, going to that forehand side is Ralph. And playing with that weight to try and get down to the shot bowl.
It's going to be under.
The head.
So 3 to Joe Edwards. And all of a sudden, 15-14. It was 15-10 just a couple of ends ago. Confirmation of the lollipops to go up shortly from Margaret Gray. And there we go, 3 to Joe Edwards, who brings that mat up again. Will no doubt look to place the jack on the 2 metre mark. The singles contest is well and truly tightened up. And the 4s. Oh, look at this. The scoreboards have changed quite dramatically. Carlton Cornwall, who had not big leads, but were leading all 3. Now, just 1 shot in the singles, just 2 shots in the pairs, and it's all level now on the 4s at 9 apiece. And 10-8 in the pairs, Carlton Cornwall with the advantage.
10 minutes can make a big difference. That's really what it's...
And you can understand why there's been a lot of applauding from Nelson on the rinks alongside, because the 4s in particular, who were down, now level, and the pairs still very much in the fight there with Carlton Cornwall as well. The pair of Colleen Earl and Linda Erasmus for Nelson up against Karen Hemmer and Lisa Prideaux of Carlton Cornwall. And it's the Val Smith skipped Nelson 4 up against the Ashley Jeffcoat skipped Carlton Cornwall quartet. And you'll see there that Joe Edwards, unfortunate on the delivery of the jack, lost the jack. And Linda Ralph replayed it. The only real difference is we've seen
the mat go back to the 2 metre mark.
Got some updates, sorry Kevin, from the men's semi-finals as well. And first point on the board for Stoke, 21-9. I suppose no surprise. Shannon McElroy now a perfect 8 from 8 in the singles at the National Interclub Sevens. He has beaten Colin Rogan 21-9. In the pairs, Stoke in command 18-6 after 14 of the 18 ends, and leading in the fours 9-8 after 10 of the 15 ends. So Stoke certainly with 1 foot, 4 toes really in the final there of the men's National Interclub Sevens here at Burnside. And in the other semi-final, singles, Calvin Scott from Elmwood Park leading Seamus Curtin of Stokes Valley 18-17 in that first to 21. The pairs, Elmwood Park leading 13-8 after 14 of the 18 ends, and the fours, Elmwood Park now in complete control 18-5 after 12 of the 15 ends. So Elmwood Park looking pretty strong too. Looks like they've pretty much got the fours secured. They just need one of the pairs and singles to go their way, and while Seamus Curtin's fought back considerably in the singles, reminding you that he was 15-7 down, Seamus Curtin, given that the pairs are looking in quite a strong position, looking like at this stage a Stoke Elmwood Park men's final where they're going to bring for you here on Sky Sport Next from midday. Still very much yet to work out who will be playing in the women's final though. And in this one in particular, will it be Nelson or will it be Carlton Cornwall?
2 good opening bowls from Linda Ralph, leading 15-14, holding 2 shots. And I just saw Val Smith, in fact, in the fours, actually kill the end. So Edwards following this bowl up, endeavouring to get just inside the Linda Ralph bowl and get a touch on the jack. Is it going to run all the way to the jack or just get under it? Edwards spurring the bowl on, finishes jack level. So Linda Ralph asking the market, Margaret Gray, holding shot, certainly holding 1 shot. And it was a touch on the jack here from Linda Ralph. Could also turn this into 3. So Ralph play on her forehand. Drawn 2 very, very close bowls. Doesn't like it by the look of the hand. Is it going to be? Just stay fractionally on that wider side. Coming back now though towards the centre line. And any jack movement would favour the Carlton combination, and sits a toucher, good and bad, because it certainly widens that target up for Joe Edwards, who will certainly be reaching up through those bowls. But this could be a big end here, Brendan. Last bowl of Joe Edwards needs to either get the jack itself or reduce.
Margaret Gray, our marker, indicating that it is 2, not 3 that Linda Ralph is holding, but still very important bowl this, with Linda Ralph have the final say on this end. Can Joe Edwards execute here? Looks like she will be playing with weight.
Trying to get to the shot bowl or the
looks
jack.
off the line. Comes under. Opportunity missed there now. Big chance this.
Certainly is.
For Linda Ralph.
She moves the jack only but a couple of inches. Could make 4 of it, in fact. Definitely holding 2, as Margaret Gray indicated. Joe Edwards played her 4 bowls. So Linda Ralph out on that wider side again, coming back now, but will it come back enough? Doesn't look as though it will. Great attempt, and looks as well. No, it won't.
No, it doesn't look like it's quite enough. But still 2 for Linda Ralph, so she is potentially now just 1 end away. A Carlton Cornwall singles player leading Joe Edwards 17-14. Linda Ralph now in this first 2-21 singles contest. The pairs and the fours taking place alongside here in our women's semi-final in the National Interclub Sevens at the Burnside Bowling Club in Christchurch. As you can see, beautiful weather, barely a cloud in the sky. We certainly can't see any clouds from our commentary position. Beautiful blue skies, and certainly warming up considerably on a very fresh, crisp morning here in Christchurch. And the weather should not be a factor. We'll get through the semi-finals and then the finals to follow from midday. So a big day of bowls here on Sky Sport Next. Make sure you do join us again in around an hour and a half when we will have the men's final, which, looking at our last update, Kevin, looks like it will be Stoke in Elmwood Park, two heavyweights of the game nationally. I suppose when you looked at the draw at the start of the competition, those were two of the clubs you would have certainly picked to go deep into post-section.
Yeah, certainly, and of course, Elmwood Park, who, the Bowls 3-5, just not missed out, and so, is this going to give Elmwood Park their wish or their desire under the leadership of Gary Lawson to get this Interclub title? Of course, Lawson won the last Interclub that was played, of course, as part of the winning Eastbourne side. A long way to go yet, of course, before that. And, of course, if it eventuates that we do have Elmwood Park versus Stoke and Nelson, well, it's certainly a powerhouse men's final that we'll be bringing this afternoon.
Well, at the moment, Elmwood Park have got a rematch of last year's Bowls 3-5 final on Sky Sport. That went the way of Stokes Valley. And if it goes according to the scores now, they'll be taking on Stoke in a rematch of the 2019 final, which they also lost Elmwood Park to Stoke. So it shows that the best of the best also play in the Bowls 3-5 competition on Sky Sport 2. And Nelson, very well, could be there in the women this year.
It could well be.
The men, of course, but the women's
could go either way, couldn't it?
You got Joe Edwards and Val Smith. Got a chance of going deep in the National Interclub Bowls 3-5 competition, which will be taking place in a month and a half or so.
Joe Edwards holding the shot here, trailing 17-14 over Linda Ralph of Carlton Cornwall in this race to 21. And as Brendan said, absolutely perfect conditions here. Wonderful autumn conditions here at Burnside. No wind, just absolutely perfect. Here's Ralph now on her backhand, trying to get that first rubber for Carlton Cornwall. Just how far is this going to? Looks to be on a pretty good line, and we'll see when Margaret Grant is the shot. We'll see the bowl finished right on the centre line. Joe Edwards, her favour here. She's either sit on the bowl for shot or got a touch on the jack, would be advantageous. On the forehand now is the Nelson player. Gives that traditional look away that Edwards tends to do. It's going to come back enough to get to the Linda Ralph counting bowl, trying hard to get inside the bowl and fall in, and will.
Especially if it does fall in. A great bowl from Joe Edwards. Knowing that the margin of error has just got a bit smaller, given the fact that Linda Ralph is now just 4 shots away. Can't afford really any ineffective bowls, Joe Edwards. Especially the way that Linda Ralph has been playing throughout this contest.
On the backhand is Linda Ralph on that consistent line towards the jack. Is on a good line on the way down. And that just going to finish up, lower the jack and shot. Well played by the Carlton Cornwall player.
Of course, Linda Ralph's only loss was against Selena Smith in section play at these National Interclub Sevens here in Christchurch.
So Edwards now will endeavour to draw down on the backhand to the shot bowl. Touch on the jack, of course, is also to her advantage. And just somebody moved. Was taking the time. Is Joe Edwards moving up the rink alongside it. Joe Edwards is certainly, as we know, Brendan, if anything distracts, she'll just pull off the mat, start again. And here Joe Edwards will endeavour to get to the shot bowl or jack. Shot bowler Linda Ralphs. How far is this going to work its way back towards the jack? It's coming now. Is it going to come enough? Is it going to come enough? Is it going to get to the jack? No, it's not.
Oh, what an effort that was. As Joe Edwards almost ended up in the crowd there as she went wider and wider following that one home. And there'll be one more to Linda Ralph. So 18-14 it is now. Linda Ralph leading Joe Edwards. Now singles match of our feature. The women's semi-final here at the National Interclub Sevens. Joe Edwards knows again she was not far away. This will be huge for Carlton Cornwall if Linda Ralph can hold on here. Get these final 3 shots.
Well, it just shows the low scoring now, Brendan. We're going now into N22 so far, the singles match. Joe Edwards has scored a 3. In fact, Joe Edwards has scored 2 threes, in fact. One on the 10th end and one on the 19th end. And Linda Ralph has just scored, no, I shouldn't say just scored, but has been consistent in scoring singles and braces of 2.
Yeah, you look at how many ends that Joe Edwards actually scored on. Certainly quite dominant for Linda Ralph, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ends that Joe Edwards has scored on. So 13 ends for Linda Ralph. And that shows in the scoreboard. She has got the better of the decorated Joe Edwards, legend of New Zealand bowls.
Well, it certainly has been consistent in the draw, as we've seen with that opening bowl. Here, sitting jack level. Joe Edwards, though, going to break just inside the bowl. Will it get inside it? Yes, it will. Here we go again. We'll just change bowl after bowl. Right to the centre line is Joe Edwards. And we'll make shot of it. So Ralph will stay on her forehand. See Erin from Bowls New Zealand there, the happy snapper with the camera, which will no doubt be on the Bowls New Zealand website either today or tomorrow of all the action. And Linda Ralph, as this comes down towards the jack, just needs to run it out, not going to. It's going to fall a metre short. Edwards asking whether it's up or down. On our monitor, it would favour the Joe Edwards bowl directly behind the jack, sitting right on the centre line.
It's obviously very close.
Measure. Edwards no doubt change her hand here. That bowl on the forehand, right on that draw line, that last bowl of Linda Ralph's. So we just heard the crowd applaud. Obviously Nelson.
Yeah, you'd assume it's Nelson. More of the hometown club, aren't they?
They certainly are. You can see some of them sitting there behind the Joe Edwards, just talking to it. So good bowl coming here from Edwards. Is it going to get all the way to the jack? Yes, it will. Toucher. Certainly put on a fantastic display, both of these players, Brenton.
Oh, it's been a very high quality singles match.
One down is the call from the marker.
Has not been daunted by this challenge, Linda Ralph taking on Joe Edwards, and has, for the most part, led. Early on it was Joe Edwards. She had a couple of twos early on, Edwards, and led 6-2 after 6 ends. But once Linda Ralph drew a level shortly after, Joe Edwards, I think, has only led on 1 end since.
So Linda Ralph endeavouring to get another bowl in on the head. Have a look at this. It gets in behind that head,
and
sits
falls in. Oh, wonderful.
Still one to Joe Edwards.
And when this bowl out here, is it high? Yes, it is. About one bowl high. Thank you.
So, just wonder now with Linda Ralph might just take the opportunity of playing. See Edwards now going to the forehand, endeavouring to play down under the shorter bowl of Linda Ralph, coming down to have a look at it. Trying to draw to this side bowl. Looks pretty close. If it gets inside and sits on the bowl, is going to do so and make two of it. Well played.
Oh, that's wonderful bowls from Joe Edwards. And Linda Ralph rightly is going to make her way down as well before she plays her last.
Oh, it was just one roll of the bowl, Brendan, of that Linda Ralph bowl. Yeah, got the ultimate result. And that's why I was wondering whether Ralph was going to look at that forehand as well. Has got the advantage of a bowl just in behind the head, which is third shot. But it's a matter of whether her bowl will hold up. I just heard Joe
Just saw
Edwards
Pete Hodson of Stoke, so you can assume that they're through to the final.
asking the question there with Joe Edwards of Peter Hodson. So, yeah.
They already had won the singles, of course, through Shannon McElroy our last update, and they had a big lead in the pairs. So you think it's gone Stokes' way. Certainly looked like it was a shake of the head in the affirmative, didn't it? From
Certainly did.
Hodson to Joe Edwards.
So Linda Ralph playing down on that forehand, as we thought might be her best shot option. Getting across on the mat, needs to get weight underneath the head. It's a difficult aside. Now it's going to come back now. It's going to come back enough. Gets a touch on the jack and the bowl and moves it. Well, one would think, Brendan, that's wonder Linda Ralph. You'd think the middle bowl there.
Yeah, the middle blue bowl, you think.
That was a big bowl from Linda Ralph.
2 down on the head. Now looks like 1 up. Joe Edwards will have the final say. But very well done from Linda Ralph. And there we can see.
Look at that crowd there now.
Huge crowd in attendance. A number of the players. Spot Mark Noble, member of the Takaro team, of course. 2-time silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games. You can see Aidan Takarua, member of the Point Chev Pirates and Bowls 3-5, and also the Point Chev team that was here at the National Interclub Sevens, the Auckland Champs. So a number of the players watching along with those just in the Christchurch region who want to see some top level bowls, because the great thing about these tournaments is a lot of the country's best are representing their clubs here at the National Interclub Sevens, which is great to see.
Well, it highlights and reconfirms, Brenton, how players and supporters of the sport of bowls see the importance of the Interclub as we watch Joe Edwards.
I want this to slow down.
And has it? I'd say, well,
I'd say just.
I would say.
From our angle. Fell in
Then.
That will help.
It would favour, one would think, by falling in, Brennan, would favour, one would think, the Joe Edwards bowl. Out comes the measure from Joe Edwards.
Yeah, Linda Ralph wasn't happy to concede the mat. Wants to get this measured. Obviously every shot's so important at this stage. Linda Ralph just 3 away from victory.
And that last bowl of Joe Edwards was the shot.
So 1-2 Joe Edwards. 18-15 it is now. Linda Ralph of Carlton Cornwall leading Nelson's Joe Edwards in this women's semi-final. Fours and pairs taking place alongside in this women's semi-final, as Shannon McElroy just says g'day to the camera. G'day, Shannon. Congratulations on your 8th straight victory in the singles.
And there's a chance we'll be covering your activity this afternoon.
Well, I think it's 100% guaranteed, isn't it? We will have the men's final for you. And at last update, it was Elmwood Park looking in control of their semi-final against Stokes Valley. But congratulations to Stoke. They're all up. Now turning to cheer on their Nelson Centre teammates from the Nelson Club.
And all very good mates. Good opening bowl here from Edwards. Just draws right in front of the jack. There you'll see it sitting right on the centre line. The jack sitting right on the 2 metre mark.
And Peter Hodson alongside Shannon McElroy. Robbie Reid there also for Stoke.
And Dr. Chris Aldred there as well. Part of the Stoke combination. On the backhand is Linda Ralph.
I understand Elmwood Park have beaten Stokes Valley. Just waiting for confirmation on that. Here though, Carlton Cornwall leading 2 of the 3. So in the singles, it's Linda Ralph over Joe Edwards, 18-15. In the pairs, it is Karen Hemmer and Lisa Prideaux leading Colleen Earl and Linda Erasmus, 12-9. And in the fours, Nelson with a slender advantage. Val Smith's quartet leading Ashley Jeffcoats, 4-10-9. So still really too close to call on all 3. 3-shot advantage though for Carlton Cornwall in 2 of the disciplines. And they would be favoured to progress from here, but it can certainly change on its head on an end or 2.
Well, with bowls like this from Joe Edwards, it's certainly, look at the draw of that around that front bowl, around just the bowl of Linda Ralphs. Another toucher, 2 shots. Now, so here's early pressure, 18-15. Karen Hema leading in that race to 21. Joe Edwards, those 2 bowls showing her class. Ralph will stay on her favoured backhand. Will they come back far enough on the draw? Trying hard to get back. Good attempt, just going to go by about a metre. So every likelihood Joe Edwards now will be happy just to get past her own bowl, make a counter of it.
A false start there from Joe Edwards, bit of movement, taking the 4s alongside her, so just stepping off the mat as she does. She's slightly put off, either by the sound or a bit of movement in her line. I don't think she quite likes this as much as her first 2, but it's going to come back to that centre line now.
Certainly
a pretty good home.
Have a look at this. Right on the centre line, right on the 2 metre mark. Literally a triangle of bowls sitting there, and very hard here for Linda Ralph to draw the shot. Needs to play with reaching backhand weight through the bowls, even if not get the shot, but certainly to get reduction. Just to draw within centimetres. You see the hand signal there.
Yeah, I don't think she likes it.
It's coming back, but it'll come back to the centre line, but past the head. And I'm sure Joe Edwards can draw there again quite confidently, because the shot
just
option
stays on the green.
The shot, Joe Edwards coming to have a look. The shot options really though for Linda Ralph are very, very restricted in what she can play. Now with the last bowl, one would think that if she was going to try it with weight, it had to be with her 3rd bowl, because it's only really a 1 bowl target now, and Joe Edwards won't want to give a target.
The next round, yeah. Oh, the doc, you were the most, you 2
I think we've got the Stoke Thunder, I think, might be near our camera mic, and just having a bit of a chat about what's happening at midday. It's going to be them in the final, men's final, which we'll be bringing to you in a little over an hour's time. So make sure, conclusion of this, get back on Sky Sport Next on YouTube and click on the final, the men's final, the last game of these National Interclub Sevens, and of course we will keep you up to date with the women's final, which will be taking place on this green, the number 1 green here at Burnside.
Joe Edwards then was endeavouring to draw to the blue bowl, in fact, down and behind
Get
the
a bit of cover, wasn't it?
Yeah, and if she got inside the bowl, it's likely that it would still count. But the shot options now for Linda Ralph with her last bowl are very, very restricted. And it's more about trying to get reduction and to try and indeed draw there, Brenton. You know, it's a pretty tough call because there's only centimetres. Big crowd, as you can see there, looking on at this fantastic singles game with Linda Ralph leading 18-15 in the race to 21. And it's a matter of what weight now that Ralph is going to play down to the triangle of 3 counting bowls sitting around the jack. And this looks like some weight just from the hand movement. A run shot, you heard the marker. And it is. And
it doesn't look like she likes it. It's going to come under that centre line. Is she going to get a bit of luck and knock on her short bowl? She doesn't.
We're all locked up.
We are 18 apiece now. Joe Edwards and Linda Ralph. So Linda Ralph, who did lead 18-14 and a bit earlier than that led 15-10. It's now 18 apiece between Joe Edwards and Linda Ralph.
Well, these next few ends and the whole context of the overall match, Brendan, certainly could make a huge difference to the outcome of this Nelson Carlton Cornwall women's semi-final, because the fours close, pairs are still only a couple of shots on our last update. Well, there you can see 10-9
to
Nelson in the fours.
Yeah, very close indeed in all 3 disciplines. And mentioned before, when Nelson had a 3-shot advantage in the singles and the pairs, well, that singles advantage is gone. Just one end.
And I just heard Karen De Jong calling one down in that fours, meaning it's now 11-9, one would think, to Nelson. There's the scores you can see there. In the pairs, it's Carlton Cornwall leading 12-9, 18 all in the singles. So this is anybody's, and this is why this game now, this could determine.
Yeah, whichever way this goes.
Correct.
Certainly if it is indeed, it was another one to Nelson.
So it's 11-9 now in the fours to Nelson, 18 all in the singles, of course, and the pairs, the Karen Hema skip side from Carlton Cornwall leading Colin Earl by 12 shots to 9. And just trying to see. And
how many ends have been played?
There we go.
Looks like 11 ends have been played. So
11.
4
yes.
ends remaining in the fours. So still plenty of time left in the fours. I'll see if I can stick my head out the window, see if we can see the fours scoreboard. Looks like 14 ends have been played there. If I've got the note, 15 ends have been played there. So 3 ends remaining in the pairs.
So Joe Edwards quickly applying the pressure to Linda Ralph, just drawing right in behind the jack.
So you'd think the singles will finish first, but it could all very well finish around the same time, as this singles match is going down to the wire.
So Linda Ralph endeavouring to get to the Joe Edwards shot bowl. Just needs to turn inside. In fact, it's
great effort. Unfortunately, just turns the bowl onto the jack
and makes it harder, in fact, now to get that angle to get to the jack or sit inside what is the shot bowl.
Now it's more about let's just try and drop one here,
and because
don't let Joe Edwards pick up more than one.
And of course Joe Edwards won't want to leave a shoulder out there on that backhand side, Brenton, which will enable Linda Ralph the opportunity, and it's going to finish lower the jack. That's no shoulder for sure. It's going to finish in a perfect spot right on that centre line, and Ralph now endeavouring to change her hand as she try and reach up on that forehand. Yes, she is. Joe Edwards, these last couple of ends, Brendan certainly put the pressure on early on in the head. So here is Linda Ralph trying to make contact and might get the back bowl of Joe Edwards, rolls it over. Still two that needed to be under the short bowl there of Linda Ralph. And of course,
well, Joe Edwards here can move to match point, can't she?
oh,
she can hold match.
Well, she can draw for the match right here, and she can draw there comfortably.
Yeah, and then it's going to be all down to Linda Ralph's final bowl.
And you'll see this Edwards bowl's breaking in towards the head now, needs to come back a wee bit further to get inside the and is going to. No, it's not.
Just as they're going to sit inside that bowl. No, just on it. So not holding match here. Holding two is Edwards.
Oh, Linda Ralph is really committed to that forehand shot after playing it with her last. Just needs to get under what is her own short bowl to get down to the jack. She's watching this closely. Is it going to get back far enough to get to the bowl? No, it's not. It was literally only centimetres away from getting a perfect result.
So it will be two for Joe Edwards. She moves to match point 2018. Now leading Linda Ralph of Carlton Cornwall in the singles. As you can see, Nelson also leading in the fours, but down in the pairs. Not sure what the result was of the singles in the semi-final between Takapuna and Nainai, but the last update we had for you was Selena Smith was leading by 2, 14-12, but that is now finished. In the pairs, Takapuna leading Nainai 10-9 with 4 ends to play, and with 1 end to play in the fours, Nainai leading 16-11. So we could have a match about to be decided potentially if Lisa White won the singles, but we don't know, or whether Selena Smith won the singles, and we're waiting on that pairs result.
The big thing in this women's singles match, Brenton, is if we at end 21, which was only 4 ends ago, it was in fact 18-14 to Linda Ralph, and a 1, a 3 and a 2 has now seen Joe Edwards sitting on 20 and Linda Ralph remaining on 18. It's not that Linda Ralph has played poorly at all. It's unfair to even think of that, because she's played exceptionally well. It's just been these last few ends that the consistency of
Edwards has taken
Joe,
it to another level.
absolutely, she has, and they've all been around the jack, been consistent on the draw, and really applied the pressure to Linda Ralph. As we see this bowler Ralph's just going to go to the centre line, but will be a metre or so over and leave Joe Edwards holding shot. So this big match now, you can see the board up there, Carlton Cornwall leading 12-9. It's Karen Hemerside leading 12-9 in the pairs, and the Val Smith skip side for Nelson up against the Ashley Jeffcoat Carlton side. It's Nelson leading 11-9. So she's all close here, and here again is Joe Edwards going to get to the centre line, but still leaves a metre for Linda Ralph to draw the shot, which she has to do, of course, to now stay alive in this semi-final women's singles. On the backhand again is Linda Ralph, which has been her preferred hand. And is it going to come back all the way? Don't think it's got the weight, is it, to get back for shot? Still going, still running. Yes, it will be, looking on the monitor. Joe Edwards may ask just a bit, Margaret Gray. Edwards knows now she's just got to really beat her front bowl. Would certainly give Joe Edwards shot and holding game. On the forehand is Edwards, and this looks a better bowl here from Joe Edwards, getting past her own bowl, and a sit to the jack. That'll be the shot for sure. That's Edwards holding game. There's still 2 bowls left to come from Linda Ralph.
Yeah, great support from those representing Nelson, and also cheered on by the Stoke men's players who are already through to the final, trying to make 2 Nelson centre sides in the National Interclub finals.
Well, still a good chance here though for Linda Ralph. Brendan to play down, make sure she can't be short, reach that shot bowl of Joe Edwards, sit on top of it, can make 2 of it. On the backhanders, Ralph needs to come back now. It's coming back now. She's going to get a bit of luck. No, she doesn't. Still 1 to Joe Edwards, but
It was a fair effort, wasn't it?
it is, because this bowl's so important now for Joe Edwards, because there's a 3-shot option on now for Linda Ralph, sitting on 18. So it's imperative that Joe Edwards now gets another bowl close, because Linda Ralph can turn the bowl through the head. As you can see it there, sit there herself, would make 3. But look at this from Edwards. Have a look at this draw shot from Joe Edwards, and a touch on the jack. That takes care of that.
So that option's gone
magnificent.
now.
The option's gone.
Yeah, you're right. If she hadn't executed there, Joe Edwards, well, she still would have held shot. If Linda Ralph had managed to knock away the shot bowl and sit with it, she could have been holding 3 and she would have won the match. So that was how important that last bowl just then, that touch-up, was from Joe Edwards. She knew it as well. Linda Ralph has come down. What can I do here?
Certainly
Very
highest
few
quality.
options.
Well, the shot here, because the back bowl belongs to Linda Ralph, the option here for Linda Ralph is to play with weight. If she was fortunate enough to get the outside of the Joe Edwards bowl with weight, the jack could go back, or even dislodge, cannon those bowls out of the head. The biggest thing is that she's certainly got to play with weight, got to be attacking into the head, and what happens after that, who knows. But what a magnificent bowl there from Joe Edwards, because the gate was certainly open for Linda Ralph. If it wasn't, another bowl wasn't rested into the head. Here's Ralph now down game. 2018, Joe Edwards leading and holding the shot, and here's Ralph, doesn't like it. You can see the body language out of the hand, doesn't like it. And was there a bit of luck is there? No, there's not.
And that's it. Joe Edwards has come back from 15-10 down, 18-14 down to beat Linda Ralph in the singles 21-18. And Nelson has the first point on the board in this women's semi-final of the National Interclub Sevens. As you can see on our board there in the pairs, Carlton Cornwall leading 12-10, and the fours, Nelson with the lead 11-9. So Carlton Cornwall now need to win both disciplines to make it through to the final. Nelson just need one of the 2 as Val Smith comes in to shake hands as well, congratulating Joe Edwards, and also commiserations for Linda Ralph, who's put on a great performance. That was a very, very good game of singles.
Oh, that game was of the highest quality, Brendan, from both players. But in the latter stages, we just saw the consistency of Joe Edwards and her ability to just draw consistently, effective bowl after effective bowl, turned the pressure around, down 18-14, came back with a 1, a 3, a 2 and a 1. And as I say, it's not as though Linda Ralph at all played poorly, but she just couldn't get the break back against Joe Edwards, who was relentless in her just moving the jack around. And you know, the heads we're talking about, Brendan, it wasn't that it was other head half a metre or that to draw shots, and they were moving the jack around within literally a few inches. So really a really high quality match, and puts Nelson now in the, well, I suppose you could say, in the gun spot.
Yeah, 1 foot in the final, you'd say, given they got their first point on the board. 2 points needed to make it through to the final. They won the first match.
I'm not going to leave it in front of you, but
So of course now we'll go to that fours game.
Yeah, we'll try and bring you coverage of the fours. We'll have to move cameras, of course, so just bear with us as we move our cameras from the rink. We are live streaming from the singles. Move the rink over to the fours. Yeah, it is an advantage to Nelson. 11-9. And still 12-10 to Carlton Cornwall and the Peers as well.
Of course, the Peers played 18 ends and the fours 15 ends, so no doubt even that fours game they must be getting down the board at 11-9 to Nelson in the sunshine here at Burnside.
You can hear, I think, Linda Ralph going over what happened in the final few stages where it was a 3, a 2 and a 2 for Joe Edwards to close it out.
Well, I think the other important factor in that as well, Brendan, was that Joe Edwards also, when she was down in those latter ends, she converted consistently, and that, you know, and the shot options, as we spoke about, were more difficult. The ability to be able to score was made difficult by the way how Joe Edwards controlled the head and really limited shot options.
And as you said right at the top as well, Joe Edwards is the more comfortable player with those attacking shots, those creative shots. Linda Ralph, very good draw player, but slightly more out of her comfort zone when it comes to playing from behind and trying to come up with those weighted shots to change the head. And unfortunately for Linda Ralph, she just didn't get that opening, did she, from Joe Edwards, where she could take that final 3-shot step to win herself, but she did lead 18-14 after 21 ends.
A great crowd in here at Burnside this morning, watching on the back green here of this 3-green complex at Burnside, and on the front, of course, you know, the men are in action. So this afternoon all the action will be out here on this back green, both the men's and women's finals will be
Aaron
here.
moving the camera, so we're moving from rank 18 to 19. See if we can give you some coverage of this fours match. And here we are. Val Smith, the skip of the Nelson 4. Kay Hammond, her number 3. Linda Sisterson, number 2 in the lead. Di Holland. And Ashley Jeffcoat, the young skipper of Carlton Cornwall. Karen De Jong, her 3. Bev Crow, number 2 in the lead. Kimberly Hemingway for Carlton Cornwall.
Bev Crow played number 2 for Ashley Jeffcoat, one of New Zealand peers, New Zealand fours a few years back, and won numerous, of course, Auckland titles. Very consistent performer. 11-9. And of course, there's 15 ends in this fours final.
Might have had another end completed. In fact, it's 14-9 now.
14-9.
So Nelson, huge advantage. 14-9 they lead. 3 ends remaining. So this is the 13th end. And a 5-shot advantage to Nelson. Just peered out the window after the latest end was completed. So they must have picked up a 3, Nelson.
Well, we certainly heard a lot of support for the Nelson side. So obviously at the back end of those last few ends, there's been some very obviously telling bowls played by either Kay Hammond and Val Smith, as we see this bowler Karen De Jong's running down towards the jack now. De Jong, of course, the daughter of the great Josh De Jong, formerly of the Mission Bay Club, now out in Pukekohe, celebrated last year, I think it was, hit the big 100, and just an absolute avid supporter and player in his days, of course. Kay Hammond now.
It's not like that one.
Didn't like that one, and at this stage it's 3 shots, and I look over it just quickly in the pairs. I see that Nelson, it was Lisa Brideau holding 2 shots, and I've seen out Colleen Earl lead with her last bowl has drawn the shot as the skips change over on this, the 13th end. And looks to be going pretty quick as the De Jong bowl. And definitely be a couple, I would say, to the Carlton Cornwall side. Val Smith having a good look. What shot to play?
Well, plenty of room for both skips.
Plenty of room.
As they make their way to the mat. Clear side of the jack. Nothing hindering it on the forehand side. Just one bowl in the area on that backhand.
So it's 14-9, is that correct? After 12, was it 12 ends completed?
As long as I picked up the right scoreboard, Kevin, when I poked my head out the window. Obviously, we do have the semi-final between Nainai and Takapuna also taking place on this green. So there are a few scoreboards.
Val Smith delighted to be back in Nelson. Started a new role, as you said, with mainland football on the forehand. And again, Burnside been a happy hunting ground for this magnificent New Zealand representative. And here's the weight on this bowler. Val Smith just going to go by the jack, is it? It does. Of course, in the World Bowls here in 2016, as the Val Smith played her game 500 for the Blackjacks.
And now he's played more than 600 times for New Zealand. Brought up that. Is that the Trans-Tasman from memory? The 600th?
You're correct, yes.
You got it.
I don't know.
At the start of last year.
So to hear them talking there about who's got the shot, well, it would appear, looking from here, that it is the Carlton Cornwall bowl. It's interesting. Jeff Kate, former New Zealand age group player, on her backhand, playing down to where the Carlton Cornwall bowls are, breaking in towards the head. Needs to get past this front bowl. Is it going to get past? Yes, it will, and that would certainly be the shot. Looking from here, Brendan, it looks like two shots, one would think.
You've picked up the colours of the bowls pretty quick. I'll back you. I'm not going to disagree. And certainly one.
Nelson holding the shot in the pairs as well. Where it is Carlton Cornwall leading 12-10 as we watch this bowl of Val Smith's coming down towards the... This is a better bowl here from Smith. This is a better bowl here from Val Smith. This is a better bowl from Smith right to the centre line.
She's grabbed by one of her teammates to congratulate her. Val Smith again delivering.
I think we'll see.
Shaking hands in the pairs by the looks of things. So does that mean that Carlton Cornwall have got the job done there? Looks like we saw shaking hands and hugs.
Well, Jeff Gate here can search down with a bit of weight, and I see they have.
So I can only assume that went Carlton Cornwall's way.
And here's Jeff Gate on the search on the backhand, trying to get that split down through there. She's in the target area. Might get the jack clean, which would be to her advantage, and it is.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's back
Karen
there.
De Jong bowl out to the back.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, one down. Sorry.
One down, bad luck there for Ashley Jeffcoat. Played a magnificent bowl, and now this becomes now 15-9 with 2 to go, and we think Carlton Cornwall have won the pairs.
Well, we can only assume. That's what's
Well, otherwise they'd have
happened.
stopped, wouldn't they, by now?
Yeah, you'd think so.
So a big mountain to climb. Ashley Jeffcoat desperately unlucky there, because there was certainly that split shot was on the Jeffcoat. just didn't quite get the result that was wanted. You see the scoreboard there now. There's one to go on there, so make it 15-9 to Nelson. Jack's been lost by the lead, Di Holland. So Val Smith, side of Val Smith, her great friend Kay Hammond, Linda's assistant, Di Holland, leading now 15-9. After Joe Edwards, of course, already won the singles. So looking good for the Nelson club. And we're not sure at this point where we're at with the nine-eye.
No, a few question marks about that game. We don't know who won the singles. Last update, it was very close in the pairs, and 9-eye were leading the fours.
So Di Holland now playing her first bowl. And pretty good green to the centre line, but overweight by a metre and a bit. Let's see if we can get that correct update for you in those 9-eye v Takapuna semi-final, which is getting down to, we know the singles are finished, we're not quite sure who won that.
Well, it looks like only one of the games is ongoing.
So that would tend to think
It's 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, so you'd think that if the pairs are still going, so you'd assume that Takapuna won the singles, 9-eye won the fours, and the pairs is ongoing.
It's the Lisa Parlane skip Takapuna side,
Who are leading, I believe, 15-9 after 16 of the 18 ends. Is that the right scoreboard? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Takapuna in control there as Nelson are here. And there's exact same scores, one in the fours, one in the pairs.
Kimby Hemingway bowl's going to finish lower the jack, sit right on the centre line after the Di Holland 2 bowls went by a metre and a half, 2 metres. Linda Sisserston now number 2 for Val Smith. Yeah, you can hear in the mics, you can hear the encouragement of this bowl for the Nelson Club, and sure is going to draw the shot literally level with the jack. So here Ashley Jeffcoat saying to Bev Crow, on your backhand, that's certainly out on the wide side.
So if you have just joined us, this is the deciding discipline in this women's semi-final of the National Interclub Sevens. Joe Edwards taking out the singles over Linda Ralph, 21-18. Colleen Earl and Linda Erasmus going down to Karen Hemmer and Lisa Prideaux in the pairs. So Carlton Cornwall levelling the scores, and now this fours match to decide it. And Nelson, Val Smith's 4 in control, 15-9, 2 ends to play against Ashley Jeffcoat's Carlton Cornwall quartet. And likewise in the other semi-final on this green, it is Takapuna took out the singles. Fours have been won by 9-eye, and Lisa Parlane and Anne Doreen in the pairs, leading Wendy Mackey and Janine Noble.
So Bev Crow trying to get movement on the jack on that forehand side. And you'll see there's a couple of the bowls sitting out there, but just slightly off target. Val Smith immediately getting her number 3, Kay Hammond, to draw out here on that backhand side. Give us some cover from the jack movement, because Carlton are at the point of this game now where they have to be searching for shots.
Yeah, they can play it safe here, Nelson.
Doesn't have to be the shot by Kay Hammond, but just to give a bit of cover around, and certainly has. You can see there the movement of the jack is down through there to the blue bowl of Bev Crows and the lead bowl of Kimberly Hemingway for Karen De Jong. And needs to come back a long way from there to get the result. Got a big draw bowl, has De Jong. And really, Ashley Jeffcoat, don't be too disappointed with that bowl, because it's another bowl back there in that a metre over the head catching pen, and that's exactly where Val Smith is indicating to Kay Hammond that's the area we need to cover. It's the danger spot.
As you can see, this is the 14th end of 15. Fours disciplined to this side, this semi-final.
So you heard there from Ashley Jeffcoat. There's the track, just in through that, underneath that bowl. Needs to more than likely just tighten that line a wee bit, does Karen De Jong, with a metre more of weight. Doesn't like it. You see, you heard that straight out of the hand, and forcing the bolt out on that wider side.
Yeah, she probably had the weight right, just didn't get the right line. Straight away knew it out of the hand, it was too wide.
So Val Smith will certainly be endeavouring to play to that cover spot, holding one shot, leading 15 shots to 9, and we take it. There's the Peers result up there now by the looks, Brendan. 15-12 to Carlton Cornwall over Nelson, and then the singles, Joe Edwards taking out that magnificent game, 21-18 over Linda Ralph. Certainly was a highest quality, really top quality singles match. So Val Smith will be endeavouring just to get literally a metre past the head and amongst that nest of bowls on the backhand. Sent it out wide on that backhand. And that's not really going to be where Val Smith wanted to get the bowl to. You can see there on the camera on the monitor, you can see on your screen where the opportunity is for the Carlton Cornwall side, and it's a good opportunity, Brendan, to be able to get movement on that jack. Ashley Jeffcoat will endeavour to play under the bowl.
Oh, she's just made her way to the mat now, so she's been looking at the head. She's well aware of what the picture is, got it in her mind, visualising it, and now it's all about executing the shot. What she asked Karen Jong to do, can she do it herself? So unlucky on the previous end. Jogging after this one is Jeffcoat.
So, close, very close. Gets a touch on the jack.
Not quite what she wanted, but very good bowl nonetheless from Ashley
Absolutely.
Jeffcoat.
Look over that.
Ideally
head.
wanted a stronger touch on the jack, moved that back to where she had a few bowls.
Oh, it keeps him alive going into the last end. If Val Smith, of course, can't do something here. Could be 2. A lot of discussion going on. There was definitely a 4 to 5 shot chance there for Ashley Jeffcoat on that jack trail, and was only really, she's only a few centimetres away from getting, say, the perfect result as Val Smith makes her way back to the mat on this, the 14th end, with this semi-final locked up, one apiece after Nelson won the singles. Carlton Cornwall won the pairs, and at this stage Nelson, as you can see on the board there, ahead 15-9 after 13 of the 15 ends, and it is Carlton Cornwall holding the shot. I'm not sure of the number on this, the 14th in. Val Smith endeavouring to play the Ashley Jeffcoat line.
Yeah,
And
hasn't
be
got the
short.
weight again though. 2 balls in a row from Valerie.
Yeah.
She's been short. Val Smith.
Yeah, the big chance here for Ashley Jeffcoat. It's only one. I just heard through the mic there. It's only one, but you can see. I think there's a 4-shot chance on the trail.
She came to the head. Saw what Val Smith could do. She executed very well last time. Now, can she come up with something special here for Carlton Cornwall to get them right back into this one and set up a thrilling final end? She's interested again.
Trying hard here is Jeffcoat. Centimetres.
And I liked how it's been applauded as well by the Nelson players watching on.
There was a 5-shot chance.
That was a great bowl. Unfortunately, it's just going to be one. So Nelson still in a very strong position as we'll play the 15th and final end of this fours contest. Nelson 15 leading Carlton Cornwall 10.
That was certainly a great effort by...
2 great bowls for Jeffcoat.
Absolutely. Was it certainly all the work was left to Ashley Jeffcoat really on that end to keep the Carlton Cornwall side in the match.
So now they need a minor miracle. They need a 5 to force an extra end here to Carlton Cornwall. 6 obviously ideally to win it outright, but really be aiming for that 5. So they need to be on the money right from the start here with Kimberley Hemingway.
If it's a tie, is it 1.5?
I believe we got an extra end.
Is an extra end?
I believe so. That was certainly the case at the National Winter Centre.
It's not 1.5 and it's in differential or
well, if that's the scoreboard, then there's no differential.
There is, correct.
It's level, so differential's not going to play if that is indeed the final score.
So a lot of balls to come. We'll go with the extra end.
Well, I'm pretty sure that is the case. Can't have it coming down to differential. Sure. Just play an extra end to decide the contest. But all speaking in hypotheticals as well, because to get to that stage, Carlton Cornwall will need to get a 5.
So Kimberley Hemingway first bowl is level with the jack. Now they're checking to see whether the first bowler, Di Holland, is in fact alive.
It's not.
It's out.
Yeah, shaky first bowl from Di Holland. So that's a good start from Carlton Cornwall.
So now
1 from 1 in a decent position, relatively handy to the jack. Well, Nelson have not managed to keep their first bowl on the green.
The head goes down from Kimberley Hemingway. And I can see why, under the line and short.
Yeah, not where you want to be when you're searching for a big number. So you can pretty much write off that bowl from being able to be counted unless the jack can somehow come back down the green.
Am I right to assume that 9 North Harbour game is now completed? I saw the jacks being placed out there on the 2 metre marks. So
yeah, bowls have just been picked up, so we can assume that Takapuna have got the job done. They were leading, weren't they, quite considerably. It was like 15-9, 2 ends to play. So assume Takapuna have got the job done there.
We'll get that confirmed in but a moment as Bev Crow draws right to the centre line, draws a shot. Well, there's 2 of the 5 which are holding, and Linda Sissiston, who drew the shot, the very important shot on that last end, and looks as though I can hear the encouragement from her Nelson teammates. It's going to slip by. Bev Crow now trying to make 3 of it. certainly out on the wide side. Drawing back now though. How's this? It's going to count as well, it's for sure. Look at this, right to the jack.
So
Well,
confirmation, Takapuna are through to the final. So congratulations to Takapuna, of course, out of the North Harbour Centre, beating Nine Eye, winning the singles and the pairs. Nine Eye won the fours. Enough for Takapuna to get through. Selena Smith is now perfect 7 from 7 in the singles. And if you missed it earlier, a men's finalist, Stoke and Elmwood Park, and we will be bringing the men's final for you at around midday.
Karen de Jong now on the back end, holding 2, perhaps 3. Carlton looking for 5, of course, to get to an extra end. Watch this bowl of the Jongs now breaking in towards the head. There's a big wide swing on the bowl. This will count for sure. Or it may not. Yes, it would, according to what Val Smith just said to her number 3, Kay Hammond. Beat that bowl. Don't worry about the shot bowl. Beat that bowl that's just in behind the head.
The luxury Nelson do have is, of course, they do have the last bowl on this 15th and final end. So Val Smith will have the final say. Kay Hammond just trying to beat that bowl and
she's done
doing
just
it
that. Well
expertly.
Played. Well played.
So now 2 Carlton Cornwall holding.
Well, they need to get another bowl in the counting area for Ashley Jeffcoat to have a chance to capitalise on what might be that 5 scoring opportunity, as this bowler Karen de Jongs now is breaking towards the head and will count.
You think that will count, don't you? So 3. So they've got the 3.
It's important, another bowl here on the head by Kay Hammond, because Ashley Jeffcoat, because Val Smith's got 2 bowls to play as well, of course. Val Smith, if Ashley Jeffcoat is going to be under the line,
Yeah, I think she likes this one.
And you'll see the bowl sitting there, the brownie or reddy coloured bowl sitting in amongst there. So 2 rolls on that bowl would more than likely make 5. Of the jack level bowl out to the right hand side, the shot bowl itself, the Karen de Jong bowl, Bev Crow bowl, and then the Ashley Jeffcoat bowl would count as well by getting 2 turns onto that Kay Hammond bowl. They've certainly got to endeavour to play it to put the pressure on the Nelson, the Val Smith, Skip Nelson side.
And it all comes down again to Ashley Jeffcoat. Needs to find the mark with both of her bowls and really hope that Val Smith, just like she did on the previous end, misses twice.
Ashley Jeffcoat started her bowls in, endeavouring to draw it down here. Started her bowls at Raglan. Needs to get past here clean. Doesn't want to get any feathers. Well, that more than likely worked in their
that
favour.
worked out. Yeah, I was surprised too. I thought she would have played on the forehand side.
So Val Smith now.
So you think they're potentially holding 4 here?
Well, it may well. It may well be, Brenton.
3 at least, you'd think.
Is Smith now. Nelson Skip doesn't like it. No.
That's 3 bowls in a row from Val Smith that have finished well short.
Now we'll get an idea from what shot now Ashley Jeffcoat elects to play. Definitely now, if she dislodges that bowl, rolls it over twice, definitely 5, perhaps 6.
She's come up with some big bowls of late. Ashley Jeffcoat was a bit unfortunate on the previous end, really. Played 2 cracker bowls. Only managed to get 1 shot. The end before that, she had a great moment that moved and then back to Jack and went 1 down.
The shot. And there's a shot that we spoke about that Jeffcoat's endeavouring to play. Looks, how far is it going to come back towards that brown bowl? Has it got the weight to turn it through their head? It's going to count though, for sure. And right, wow.
Well, we assume they must be holding 5 because otherwise you wouldn't play.
You wouldn't be playing, absolutely.
So they must be holding 5 here. Surely it's not 6 they're holding. That red bowl must be the 5th.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yes, the black bowl out to the left-hand side we assume is the 5th.
It's the one that I think looks like the 5th shot.
And then the red bowl being the 6th, which being a Nelson bowl. So the pressure on Val Smith. Well, we said it was unlikely, a 5 on the final end.
But 2 ends in a row though, Brenton. We've seen that.
Left the door open, haven't they?
The door been ajar. Val Smith, deep breath.
Doesn't want to be short this time.
Oh, she's certainly been disappointed with her last few bowls. And you can hear them calling, talking. Is it
Urging it on.
Needs to stop.
It doesn't. And I think we're going to an extra end to decide this. We'll have a measure for the 5th, but I think there's certainly 4 here. Now get rid of that one. That's 1, 2, 3.
The black bowl's got to be in that.
We didn't even consider that one, but that was obviously pretty much Jack level.
That's 4 out. The black bowl's got to be in. 5.
Oh, this is potentially 6.
This is the measure between the Bev Crow bowl and the Kay Hammond bowl.
Measure for 6 here. If Carlton Cornwall done the impossible.
They've definitely got
stolen
an extra
it on the 15th end. They've definitely got an extra end, but have they won it outright? Five it is. We are going to an extra end between Nelson and Carlton Cornwall. They can't be separated in the 4s. What a comeback from 15-9 down to be 15-10 down, playing the final end. They pick up a 5. Hats off to Ashley Jeffcoat.
Absolutely. They're 2 magnificent bowls. Well, even the previous end, Brendan, she played 2 absolutely top bowls. And could have got the Jack trail, of course, as we said, on that 14th end to make 5 of it. So here's the toss of the coin by Karen De Jong as we'll play this extra end. Tails, as they pretty sure now have the conversation of who's going to have the last bowl. And we're sure that North Harbour have got through.
Yes, Takapuna.
The North Harbour combination. And that really, Brendan, no disrespect, was a bit of the way how Nino have been going right throughout. I just think that Nino would have gone in there as favourites. Look at that, 15, 15, 15. And it's interesting, they never went to that brown bowl at all on that measure. So it was the side bowl of the Nelson Club, which was the nearest one.
And that was just a great indication of how misleading it can be from our pictures because of the angles of the cameras. Obviously, we don't have the camera over the head, top of the head.
Carlton Corn with the last bowl. Nelson taking the mat.
And the way this has gone the last few ends, you've got to say Carlton Cornwall would feel pretty confident about this, with Ashley Jeffcoat having the last say on an end.
Yeah, they've played, the last 2 ends, they've played them very, very well. But now, this Jack delivery, how short is this?
I think the mat's quite
the
far
mat's
back
on the 2 metre mark.
Should be all right. It's a pretty short end, though.
Certainly is.
Now we'll see where they want it.
So we'll have Di Holland start off for the Nelson Club on this extra end. Certainly wasn't looking like that 10 minutes ago, Brenton, was it?
Absolutely not. It I was pretty much saying that Nelson were in the final, really. 15-9 advantage, 2 ends to play. 15-10 advantage, 1 end to play. And somehow we're going to an extra end through some great play from Carlton Cornwall. And Nelson unable to execute on that final end of regulation. And we go to a bonus end, 16th end to decide this. Winner takes all, goes through to the final this afternoon against Takapuna.
So Kimberley Hemingway endeavouring to draw it to where the first bowl, Di Holland bowl. You'll see it there, metre or so, or metre and a bit over the head on a pretty good line. On the backhand. So the crowd have certainly been treated to a magnificent encounter. This particular game, the Joe Edwards Linda Ralph game, is an outstanding singles game, and now this extra end as they're coaxing this bowl in towards the head of Di Hollands, and it's a great bowl from the Nelson lead, right on top of the jack. Straight away, Ashley Jeffcoat saying to lead Kimberley Hemingway, change your hand onto your backhand, draw down to the shot bowl, formerly of Wellington, Kimberley Hemingway. And of course, Ashley Jeffcoat, so could start her bowls in Raglan as a secondary school player, just around behind. Good effort there by the lead for Ashley Jeffcoat.
Yeah, very good effort from Hemingway. And you can see that despite the tension of this extra end, Carlton Cornwall look pretty relaxed about proceedings. I want to share a joke there, De Jong and Hemingway.
Well, the great thing for Nelson on this particular end is that Di Holland has drawn that shot very early on, and this the extra end, and just certainly just makes the job, I'm not saying that much easier, but just gives them a good start off the head. So you watch this bowl of Bev Crows, number 2 for the Carlton Cornwall club, come back towards the centre line. It's more than likely a metre over the head. It's one of those heads, Brennan, where you've got to play that exact weighted shot to either set the bowl out or get a touch on the jack. So Nelson will be feeling pretty good at the moment with this bowl. And if this bowl gets in the line on that hand, which is going to do so, although Bev Crow's got both Bev Crow and Karen De Jong do have a big draw on their bowls, so it won't affect them. Here's Crow now on the backhand. And Ashley Jeffcoat's taking an interest in this bowl. Just going to be outside where it needs to be. And that front bowl of Linda Sisserston.
Even if you do have the drawing bowls, it's going to play in your mind.
Absolutely.
You can't run into that, and you're either going to be a touch wider than you should be, or just a touch too much weight. And I think we've seen there with Bev Crow, bowl was a bit too much on it because he wanted to make sure she got around that short bowl.
So it's bowl of Kay Hammonds. So it's going to go by the head, and it does. Very hard shot. Encouraging there, Ashley Jeffcoat encouraging number 3. Karen De Jong now on their backhand trying to draw past that front bowl to get to the counting Di Holland bowl. Well, certainly on a narrower line is this bowl of Karen De Jong's.
Too narrow though. Yeah, it's going to come under the line. So it needs to come around that short bowl. It came under it.
That's the difficulty, as you rightly said, Brendan. You try and put a wee bit of weight on as well. It just makes it. I just wonder whether we'll see what Jeffcoat elects to do. But it's a very exact shot. Kay Hammond, remember that bowl of Di Hollands has sat there now. There's a few bowls gone by, and still sits there as shot with the Kimberley Hemingway bowl just alongside it. Val Smith will be happy with that ball on it, went by. It was going to nestle into those bowls. So Ashley Jeffcoat saying to Karen de Jong, don't try and rush at the head, just let the bowl work. You've got a big drawing bowl. Let it work on the backhand past the front bowl.
And it's going to come under again, or maybe even hit the short bowl. Yeah, it does hit the short bowl.
Well, Jeff got to be happy about that, to be fair, because it does open up now that opportunity down there, Brenton, to just that.
You can almost use that Karen de Jong bowl as a guide, can't you?
Absolutely. The only danger, of course, is sitting out to the side of the head is Nelson bowl sitting out there. But we've seen Jeff Coate the last 2 ends more than capable of playing these big shots.
All hinges on this.
Well, the side of the head favours that of the Nelson side. So it's got to be played exactly by Ashley Jeffcoat, and she's quite capable of playing the shot. Val Smith needing to get... I can hear them encouraging the Val Smith bowl. But no, to me, there's a perfect track there for Ashley Jeffcoat. Under the bowl, on the backhand. Perfect line.
She'll follow this down, regardless of if it's good or not. Now she gets a bit of a spring in her step.
They're looking at it. They're looking at it. They're looking at it. Jack, they're calling. She got it. She got it.
And now holding Carlton Cornwall, and take a bow, Ashley Jeffcoat.
Been outstanding.
That's 4 ends in a row. Every end we have covered of this fours match, she has delivered. She may not have got the result. Remember the very first end we played? She played with a weighted bowl. Unfortunately, the jack didn't go her way. But she's played absolutely outstandingly. And she's taking on one of New Zealand's very best, and Val Smith.
Well, of course, now the problem that Val Smith's got, her short bowl in the front there is a difficulty now on that hand, because she needs to get to the Kimberley Hemingway bowl, which is the shot. But if you put a wee bit of weight on Brittany, you're just going to hang outside what is her own short bowl. So I wonder whether she's better to attack it. Yeah, I thought that looks a far better option down there than trying to get past what is her own front bowl.
Maybe able to hear the voice of Joe Edwards. I think
it was Joe Edwards there.
Saying a few things, saying, hang on.
Yeah.
You might want to try something a bit different. Obviously, Joe Edwards has done her job in the singles, coming from behind. If you weren't with us earlier.
What a turnaround. Do you think now what's also played in Val Smith's mind, the last few ends, last 3 ends, Val Smith hasn't really played what you would say a telling bowl or an effective bowl, and this is when I really got to play one, because this is it.
Have to now. I haven't managed to execute the last few ends, and the flip side, Ashley Jeffcoat, opposing skips, played superbly.
Here's Smith on the mat, all on this bowl, playing on the charge, down on her knees, crouched down, trying to get, and's going to get nothing. Got the kill.
Got the kill.
How was that?
And we'll play it again. This match will never end.
What a magnificent bowl. Firstly from Ashley Jeffcoat, and then that last bowl effort of Val Smith. You don't get it much better than that.
Well, we said that she'd failed to execute the last few ends, Val Smith, but when it mattered most, with the match on the line, she did deliver and has killed the end. We will replay the extra end now to decide this semi-final, and we expect this to be a good contest. Ashley Jeffcoat's Carlton Cornwall 4, 6 from 6 here at these National Interclub Club 7s in Christchurch, and Val Smith's quartet, 5 wins and a draw. So 2 unbeaten 4s, and you can see why neither of them is going to give up here. Neither is willing to lose this contest.
Well, Ashley Jeffcoat has played some really, really big bowls, and none so more, of course, on that last end when down on the head on the extra end, and just got the touch on the jack, and it looks as though it's the jack gone all the way to the no, There it is, right on the 2 metre mark. Great crowd in here, Brendan, isn't it? Watching this latter stages of this. So there it is, 21-18 to Joe Edwards over Linda Ralph. The Karen Hema skip pairs beating Collie Newell 15-12. And now Val Smith, the Nelson skip, and Ashley Jeffcoat from Carlton Cornwall all locked up at 15 all. So couldn't get it much closer than this. So Kimberly Hemingway, of course, won the Auckland singles last weekend. Here's her chance to really make a big statement for the Carlton Cornwall club.
Well, missing with her first was Di Holland, of course. She held shot for so long and the extra end before Ashley Jeffcoat changed the situation. Wow.
Oh, Hemingway will be
alongside each other, so
disappointed with
two
that.
misses from the leads. Now, who's going to be first on the jack? So
Well,
important.
Of course, it was Di Holland's second bowl and that first play of the extra end, which looked narrow out of the hand. I might be wrong. No, it's on a good line. As it's on a good line, how's the weight? She's going to do it again as Di Holland. She's going to do it again. Going to do it again. On this, the replay of that extra end. Now the pressure straight on to the Carlton Cornwall. So that the door was left open for Carlton Cornwall, Brendan, wasn't it? And Kimberly Hemingway just couldn't quite capitalise on it. Oh, this is a better attempt if it gets to the centre line, and it will. What a bowl from Val Smith after really struggling for 3 ends with the 2 bowls, but played the big bowl.
Yeah, when it mattered most.
Well, the good thing was that she certainly played the percentage shot, Brendan. I know earlier on they were looking at other options, but that was certainly the best percentage shot and got the kill clean.
Now Ashley Jeffcoat wanting a couple of big bowls here from Bev Crow. And number 2. Looks narrow.
Narrow, under the line. And would lack a metre of weight.
Of course, this is a lot longer end than we played previously. It was a pretty short end. And
It was the last end.
First time having a go at this extra end before it was killed. So now the jack all the way back at the 2 metre mark. Matt looks like it's all the way back as well, so pretty much playing ditch to ditch, so quite an adjustment the players have to make.
Oh, it's going to be under the line, and
so far Nelson have made the adjustment, they're better. One bowl from Di Holland right in front of the jack, and then another from Linda Sisterton just in behind. Now Bev Crow with her second, needs to make the adjustment after being narrow with the first. Looks on a much better line.
How's the weight?
Jeffcoat's interested.
How's the weight? How's the weight? Just not quite going to.
Very good effort from Bev Crow, though.
One roll, really. And that just makes the draw a wee bit harder for the Carlton Cornwall combination, having to get around that front bowl. The bowls that Karen de Jong plays with are quite capable of getting around that. And I hear Val Smith indicating she's like the look of this Kay Hammond bowl. On the quick side, you'll hear.
Yeah, I think like the green, but it's just the way. Yeah, good grass, says Val Smith. Will stay on the green.
There you go. So you heard Ashley Jeffcoat say that if you beat the bowl of Bev Crow, you'll be close to drawing the shot. So here's now the Karen de Jong bowl. This will start to break towards their head now.
Just too much weight.
Too much weight on it. And, you know, definitely had too much weight, but the point is, Brennan, you had to be up, no sense. And,
No, absolutely. You'd rather be there than short. Gave it a chance to Karen de Jong, and really it's not a massive, correction she's going to have to make with her second.
Literally only a
Just
metre
pull it
and a
back
half.
Yeah, pull it
that's
back a
about it.
tiny bit.
So Kay Hammond now certainly got a different line than her first. Val Smith's taking an interest in this bowl. She doesn't want it to finish jack low. That's the main thing for the Nelson combination. Now it's gone through the head. She'll be more than happy with that.
Yeah, good correction.
Karen de Jong now with her last bowl on the replay of this extra end. It's after 15 all ends, all locked up at 15 apiece. De Jong's got this bowl out on that big draw line of hers. Not going to have the weight though. Not going to have the weight to get that line to the shot bowl.
Yeah, just a reminder, if you have just joined us, this is the deciding match of this women's semi-final, the National Interclub Sevens. The singles going Nelson's way, 21-18, Joe Edwards over Linda Ralph. The pairs going Carlton Cornwalls, Karen Hemmer and Lisa Prideaux betting Colleen Earl and Linda Erasmus of Nelson. And then Nelson looking in command. They were 15-10 up, playing the 15th and final end of the fours, when Carlton unbelievably picked up a 5 to send us to this extra end. So the second go at it, it's a replayed extra end after Val Smith managed to kill the first time round when Carlton Cornwall were holding match.
Val Smith certainly out on that safer wide side. And it's going to be short now. That gives a sider at my line to Jeffcoat. Or is she going to try and play the bolt out of the head? The deliberation going on between the Carlton Cornwall players.
And the back end players, Jeffcoat and de Jong, discussing this.
I think she's looking at to say, well, if I can play with the yard of weight down onto the Bev Crow bowl. The only problem is for Carlton Cornwall, the deepest part of the rink is owned by Nelson. You'll see the bowl of Kay Hammond's right back there under the number 19, and there's another bowl back there which is also Nelson's. Kimberly Hemingway also making a comment down there. Yeah, I think you're going to see that yard of weight to try and reach through what is the shot bowl. And we've certainly seen Ashley Jeffcoat. Look at that crowd there, Brendan, around the clubhouse. And
Of course, we have the men's final to follow. It's actually scheduled to start now. As this semi-final has stretched on, replayed, extra end here in the fours to decide this contest. Who will play Takapuna in the women's final? So playing with that extra weight.
There's Jeffcoat with weight, trying to get up to the shot bowl under the head. You can see the shot. And it's interesting, isn't it, Brendan? That's that second bowl again of Di Hollands, which has been just causing happened on the last end. Good change. Of course, Val Smith got the kill out of it, but you can see the shot that.
It's all going to come down to Ashley Jeffcoat's final bowl.
Well, looking through the monitor, that sort of jar shot onto the Bev Crow bowl is on for a favourable result for Carlton. So it's important that Val Smith doesn't want to fatten their target up, but certainly wants to get another bowl on the head. So on the forehand, the Nelson skip got that kill when it was looking dire for Nelson in that last or the first part of the extra end. And she'll be happy that it missed everything there. It doesn't change the target. Ashley Jeffcoat can't change a shot now. She's decided what shot she's going to play. And you can see the line there with a yard of weight under that front
miss
bowl.
by much with her first.
More than likely could play it with a wee bit more weight under the Val Smith bowl and get down to the blue bowl of Bev Crows. So this match between Carlton, Cornwall and Nelson in the singles, fours, certainly been a real titanic struggle. Great game of singles, fantastic bowls played by both Linda Ralph and Joe Edwards, and it was on that latter stages, of course, when Joe Edwards down by 18 shots to 14, and things were looking good for Carlton, and a 1, a 3, a 2 and a 1 by the Joe Edwards gave them the 21, and then we saw Carlton Cornwall win the pairs by 15 to 12, and then we saw Carlton Cornwall on the 15th end pick up a 5 to force this extra end, which is now the replay. Last bowl.
Nelson holding. Ashley Jeffcoat needing to pull out something from her bag of tricks once more. Has played sensationally over the last few ends to get Carlton Cornwall in this position when they, with a couple of ends to play, 15-9 down, and as Kevin said, 15-10 down with a end to play. Running after this one is Jeffcoat. Has she made the correction with the line?
They like this. Going to miss it.
No,
down on
the same as the
down
first.
on the haunches. But what a fantastic game. What a great result for the Nelson Club. Heartbreak for Carlton Cornwall. But what a comeback, and hats off to Ashley Jeffcoat, who those last 3 ends, Brendan, was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, she was. Very unfortunate that she's come out on the wrong side. Ashley Jeffcoat, and sharing a moment there, Val Smith and Ashley Jeffcoat. But it is Nelson through to the final. They will take on Takapuna this afternoon in the women's final. And we'll be back very shortly here at Burnside Bowling Club at the National Winter Club Sevens. We'll be bringing you the men's final. Stoke up against Elmwood Park.
Between the Nelson teams.